Silence.
Visit othersideofmidnight.com and click on the sign up link and listen to the shows anytime for our devices for $5 a month. Then you can get your daily fix of cool out of this world programs that only RCH can deliver. Don't take a chance of missing out on great old style long form
20 seconds.
topics you really need to hear about. That's othersideofmidnight.com.
Got all your pictures up there too.
Before you fall asleep again.
10 seconds.
You're listening to the Dark Matter Radio Network.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to Paranormal Central, broadcasting live from Central California with your hosts Jeffrey Gonzalez and Alan Thomas. Broadcasting video worldwide at ParanormalCentral.net and broadcasting audio on the Dark Matter Network at ArtBell.com. Are you ready to witness something you cannot explain?
Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Paranormal Central, broadcasting live from the bottom left-hand corner of the Nevada Triangle in a city called Fresno, California. My name is Jeffrey Gonzalez. I am your host for the show. I'm also the founder of a group called the Sanger Paranormal Society. I have been investigating the paranormal now going on 13 years. And so you can say we're just not up here talking about it. We actually live it. So we kind of know what we're talking about. We investigate all things paranormal. Bigfoot, monsters, UFOs, aliens, ghosts. And I have a team, which includes this guy to the right of me. Him.
Hi, y'all.
Over there.
I just typed that in chat for all of you that aren't in chat.
Thomas. Tonight is going to be a great show.
It's going to be a great show.
And I kind of like to say that just about every time. I mean, we do. We have good shows here. Why? It's the guests that we get are outstanding, for one thing. And, you know, the authors that we bring in, the guests, is right up there in what we talk about. The guest tonight that I'm going to be talking about, is Mr. David Paulides. He is on tonight. We're going to be talking about missing people. He has a 5th book that's out, which we have right here, and we're going to be talking about it, among other things as well. So, stay tuned. If you are watching us right now on live stream, well, then obviously you're looking at us. We're going to be showing some photographs tonight, and I will be putting them up as we go along. If you are listening to us at the Dark Matter Digital Network, yeah, you heard me right, Dark Matter Digital Network. Who is that? Well, it is on the Art Bell website. They are taking our signal and broadcasting it out to their servers worldwide. So you have the availability to listen to us or to watch us either way you want. And so, you know, you got the best of both worlds. What can we say? We're giving you HD video here and HD quality audio there. So what a lot of people do is they turn on the volume here and turn up the volume over there because, you know, they're pushing out some good stuff over there on that side. So however way you want to tune in. Like I said, tonight's going to be another awesome show. We have David Paulides. He sent me his book, Missing 411, The Sobering Connection. Sobering Coincidence. This book is about missing people, obviously, Missing 411. But David has decided to take it another direction. And I'm going to let him talk about what the missing people on this book, where are they coming up missing at and what locations. It's cool that a lot of our fans that follow us on live stream and on Facebook, when they heard about the missing 411
and dark matter,
yeah, they went out and they purchased the book right away, because all of them said that they got it yesterday or the day before, and they wanted to read it before David Paulides came on, which is awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So thank you very much for doing that, because that means you are definitely following us, and the missing people intrigues the you-know-what out of you. And it does to me, too, because it's happening all over the world, and it's happening right here next to us. And it's happening a lot. And, God, I would love to know why it's happening. We're going to talk to David about missing people. And we'll see what happens. So we're going to have a great show tonight, a great 3 hours worth of stuff. It's not only David Paulides that we're going to be talking about. We have other stuff we're going to be talking about as well, after and before. But first, we got to bring on somebody that is a great friend of ours. Actually, he's paying us to be our reporter.
Yeah, isn't that great?
He's giving us $20 a week. Yeah, right. Mr. Danny Valdrum is our Bigfoot reporter. He is going to be coming on. Matter of fact, let's go ahead and call him right now, because he thinks he knows a lot about Bigfoot. So we got to figure out if he's telling us the truth. Mr. Danny, let's find it. Mr. Danny. And I think he answered, but it's hard to say because his mom, keeps him down in the basement. And Danny, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Were you taking a nap or what?
No, she just threw a slab of meat at me.
She should have slapped you while she was doing that. Knock some sense into you, man.
How are you slackers doing?
Good.
Right on.
We're slacking.
Yeah,
We're slacking.
not too shabby.
Yeah, we're slacking.
Today.
Doing the daddy duty this weekend. I just got back from a tournament out in Kerman. Was out there since 8 o'clock this morning with the wife, watching our kid play baseball, doubleheader. So
Still with the baseball?
Huh? Yeah. Well, yeah. You know what? There's tournaments. There's fall ball, spring ball, summer ball tournaments. And when the tournament comes up, the coach says, "Hey, can Christian play?" And we say, "Yeah, sure," because he loves baseball, and he's actually pretty good at it. So.
Wow.
So we were.
Way to go, Christian.
Yeah. So we were out there. So. All right, Mr. Danny. So what do you got for us today?
All kinds of good stuff.
So on your vacation. So how did it go?
It was good.
Yeah?
It was hot and humid,
Yeah.
but it didn't let it stop me.
That's Texas.
Yeah, it's humid in
That's
Texas,
Texas.
like a thunderstorm every day.
Yeah, there was thunderstorms at night, and you could hear them during the day, but I was sweating everywhere I went, but kept going.
Well, aren't you used to it though?
No, well, I'm used to the heat, but not the humidity.
Not the humidity part, right? Yeah, it's different. Definitely different.
Yeah, at Dealey Plaza, I was sweating. I felt like Oswald there.
He was sweating bullets, though,
Yeah.
Boom, boom. Oh, I don't have a drum roll set up for that. All right, Mr. Daddy sent me over some photographs, and we are going to be showing them right now to you as he narrates the story behind each one of them for all those who are listening to us at the Dark Matter Digital Network. The very kind people over at the artbell.com website, Mr. Keith, was happy enough to put those photographs on the home page of the artbell.com website, and they are there marked Bigfoot Report with today's date. So I would suggest if you are there right now, go ahead and click on photograph number 1, because I'm going to do the same here, like right now. And Mr. Danny?
Man, those stories that you sent earlier, Danny?
Uh-huh.
The link to that? Man.
I'll be talking about those later.
Okay.
Oh, really?
Good.
Oh, man,
Yeah.
they were good stories.
They were good.
I won't sleep tonight.
All right, we got photograph number 1 up. You are a
All right.
go.
First one has one picture. It's from the Minnesota Bigfoot Research Team. from August 23rd. And this one was submitted by Dan Cole. This is actually from a friend of his, from his trail cam, another trail cam picture.
That's not what you got.
Here it is. Got it.
There we are.
Okay. I see an eyeball. Is that the eyeball, right?
Yeah, the big eyeball.
Got it.
And it's from Alberta, Canada. And this is off a computer screen again, so you lose a lot of clarity because of the glare. So we don't actually know what it looks like because there's some quality missing there. But
It's not Nefertiti or whatever. Is that who this is?
no,
Nefertiti. Is that the one that goes Mike?
Oh,
No,
that from
no.
Canada.
This is a different area.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So you lose a lot of detail when they take a picture off the monitor instead of downloading the picture onto the computer and then moving it over like that.
Right.
But this one's looking like straight at you. And
Just
if it was a
about.
bear, I know a lot of people are saying it's a bear, you would kind of see the ear, at least a little piece of it, because depending on how high the camera was set,
Right.
the bear, if it was set low, you would see the rest of the body behind it, and you don't see that here. You can see the trees behind it.
Right.
Oh, don't we have a bear eyeball picture? Don't we? Don't we have one on the trail cam
Oh God, I don't know. I don't know
that we
where
just got when we were at Thule Res? Didn't we get a good picture of its eyeball looking in there? It looks like it has a beady eye compared
well,
to that.
this one here, the one that Danny is showing right now, the eye is like out of the eye socket to me.
It kind of looks like a deep eye socket to me because of the lower part underneath there. It's like a darker area, and I haven't seen a bear that has kind of an eye socket that looks like that. I looked at a ton of pictures.
Yeah, no, the bear
This
wouldn't
one has
even
a tiny
have
pupil.
like that bulge around the side, the right side and down. The bear would not have that. That would be like where its snout kind of goes down, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
And
Maybe
this
it's
one
a
has
dog
wrinkles on its
man.
forehead.
Right. I see the wrinkles on the forehead. Definitely.
What about a
And if
dog
it was
man?
standing up, you would be able to see the ear, at least a little piece of it. I don't see the ear anywhere on there.
Does it look like it has understanding to you? Like how people say they can look in its eye and it looks like it has understanding. Like they
Yeah,
can.
this one's trying to look. Saying, what the heck am I looking at?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So
I don't know.
we don't know what exactly it is. It could be a bear. Maybe it's a bear with beginning stages of mange.
Mange.
So I don't know, but it doesn't quite look like a bear to me. But,
No, it doesn't actually.
but we
No,
don't
but
really
it
know
looks like
because
it
we're
might
missing
have
some
a
quality
snout,
there.
though.
Well, I've got the bear head up there. That we could show, but all right, yeah. I mean, what can it be? I don't know.
The majority of the pictures that I've seen have the big black eye staring at you, and I don't see the big black eye staring at me here.
right.
So, could be anything.
Could
There's a
be.
lot of stuff out in the forest as we find out.
Yeah. After the
Yeah.
after the frickin' thing you sent us, dude.
Yeah, just
Yeah, I'm
don't
pretty scared
take
now.
any
Oh, you
stairways.
scared?
you know.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, but all those that you sent us, a lot of that makes sense, doesn't it?
Yep, it does.
It does,
It
dude.
totally does.
Well, I'm not going to sleep tonight,
I
even
am.
in the city. Be like, man.
And I'm not a
Oh,
big person of
remind me to tell you what I
cloaking
saw out
Bigfoots.
here.
I
Remind
don't
me
like
tell
to
you.
hear that.
I saw something back here.
But
Out here?
I don't know.
I did.
It makes sense.
Yeah, it scared the shit out of me. So, okay.
Whoa.
Yeah, I after this, I need to tell you something happened in our backyard this past week. I need to tell everybody. But okay, all right. Next one. Bless you.
The next one is from the Sasquatch investigations of the Rockies, and they're SIR, S-I-R for short.
SasquatchInvestigations.org.
And this is from their trip on July 20th through the 22nd.
Okay.
It's Teresa and Jeff Yelnick.
I remember this photograph. Yes, this is going to be cool.
Yeah, they usually investigate in the Pikes Peak area and near Parker, Colorado. But this was an area that they didn't tell you where it was. It just says North Colorado Research Area.
Okay.
And on day one, when they got there, they did a wood knock, and they got a rock clack back, but it was really far off, so they didn't really pay attention to it. And then the next day, he got up, and he went to go check his voice recorders, because he leaves voice recorders out in the forest in case anything comes near. So he had his back to the voice recorders, and he heard a loud rock clack. And just before that, he had taken the lens cap off of his camera, and he turned the camera on. So when he heard the loud rock clack, it was right behind him. So he swung around. He took the picture that you're looking at now. And he didn't really hear anything, didn't see anything moving, but he took the picture anyways, and he did a mouth click back, and you know, one of those, like, kind of like that, just to answer it, but
Right.
he didn't hear anything, so he left the area. He says what they usually do if they have something that's making noise to them, they don't usually run after it, or do they just leave it alone, try to get it to come closer. So when they got back to camp, they could hear sticks snapping around the camp, and then they had the rotting meat and the roadkill kind of smell that went through the whole camp, and they said it was pretty strong and stayed there for a while. And near this area, they've also found tree structures, so it's a good spot that they picked there. But when they got home, they were listening to their audio, and they could hear when they did the rock clack, and he could hear him do it back. But he said that when they did the rock clack, it was pretty close to the speaker, the audio recording that he had, so it was about 20 feet away. And then he could hear his behind it, and then he could hear something throw the rock near the speaker. So he got all that on audio, but they were looking at the picture to try to see if they could see anything, and that's when they started to see something on here. So picture number 2, if you look at the picture,
Okay, when
you'll
I'm
see
gonna,
it says,
you want me to zoom in, or you already have that zoomed in?
the next picture will be zoomed in.
Gotcha.
Cool.
So if you're looking at this picture, you can see like the Christmas tree in the middle. And then just to the right of the Christmas tree, towards the top, you can kind of see a face there staring at you.
I sure do.
The top of its head is kind of even with the top of the Christmas tree, and then you come down a little bit, and you'll see at least one eye. You'll see the left eye, and then you'll see the long nose.
Did everybody see that?
Mine hasn't caught up with it yet.
Give you a second.
I'm still waiting.
Yeah.
It hasn't caught up with you. But here we go.
You'll see a long face, a long nose there, and it's just staring right at you. It took me a couple. It doesn't jump right at you, but it took me a couple of looks at it.
It did. It took me a couple of looks too, but you know what? I see an eye.
Now that I see it, I see it.
I see it.
The nose is almost touching the tree.
Why does it have to be the same color as the tree?
Well, on my picture, it kind of looks a little reddish.
Is it
the fur on
chameleon?
the head.
Ah.
The face kind of looks a little reddish. But you kind of see it in the next picture is the blown up picture, but it kind of loses a little clarity.
Looks like a reptilian. No, I'm just kidding. Oh, whoa. Okay, I can see it over there on Jeff, so I can see it good.
You can see it?
Yeah.
Hell yeah. I don't even have to zoom in on this because you
See,
guys, if you guys
I see what
can't,
you were looking at now.
if you guys can't see this, then I don't know what to tell you.
Roll in on it a little bit.
Right.
It's
Oh,
like
my-
peeking out from behind the tree, watching him.
Wow,
So-
man.
What are we looking at, though? Is it really something standing back there, or is it a case of pareidolia?
Jeez, man.
What these guys did that most people don't do is after they saw that face staring at them from behind that tree, they went back out there.
Oh.
So finally, somebody actually goes back out there.
Awesome.
So they took a second picture to
Yeah, so
see
him and his
if
wife went back out there, and they verified that it wasn't anything other than a shadow or a tree or something back there.
Right.
So when they get back out there, there's no tree behind that.
Did they take a photograph?
Yeah,
Do
the
you have
next
it?
picture is the picture that they took.
oh man.
Very, very
And-
smart, Jeff and Teresa Yellick. Thank you very much
Yeah.
for doing your job like you're supposed to. This is exactly what you're supposed to do. This is what we did with David's photograph. Thank you very much for doing that.
And there's nothing back there.
There
There's
isn't?
no tree there. It's an empty place. And they actually went back there, and what they found was a game trail.
Ah.
There's a game trail where this thing was standing on. So if you look closely, his wife is actually in that picture.
Huh?
and there's a little kind of white area, like she's wearing a white jacket or something,
Right,
Well, I see
there.
her.
and that's it. That's her.
So she's a
She's too
shrinky
short.
dink.
Oh,
She's
I
a
see.
shrinky dink compared to whatever this is.
So they're estimating that this thing was 77 feet away from him, and it was between 8 and 9 feet tall.
Wow.
Okay, so right now what I'm doing, you guys, is the head, her head
Whoa.
is about right here. This is what I'm thinking her head is at. And
Well, if you roll in a
remember-
little bit, you can roll in and you can get right in there.
okay,
We can't
I-
roll
see-
anymore, huh?
Yeah, no, we got that right there. Okay, see, there's her eye right there, her face. I think that's her. If that's a ghost.
It's a ghost. That's pareidolia.
No, that's her wearing the white. It's got to be it. I think I see her eye there. Anyways, I think that's her head, if I'm not mistaken. I hope I'm doing this right. But
Hard to see her.
yeah, but if that's the case, if you guys remember, the Bigfoot's head was up here,
It was almost to the top of the tree.
right?
And he might have been even like
Crouching.
crouching down.
Yeah. How
So-
tall was she? Did she say?
It didn't say how tall she is.
She's like 5'2".
Just it to be the
I'm just
to be where
guessing.
the other thing was 8 to 9 feet tall.
Right. No, I mean, if she was a tall lady, then that would put that
Yeah,
other
they,
thing.
they say
taller.
she's standing on a chair too.
Nuh-uh. Shut up.
So it's not a tree back there because
No,
there are no trees
There
back
was no
there.
trees back there.
There's just a trail.
Oh, but you know what the people are gonna say? Well, they cut down the tree that was back there. Yeah. Whatever. You hear it? Shh, you hear it?
Yeah,
Pretty cool.
it sounds like it's taking her out.
Very cool. Well, that's what an investigator is supposed to do, because people are going to say, "Well, you don't know. Is it there now? Is it? I mean,
they're saying that she is standing on a chair.
how do you know?"
Because they're saying it in chat. Here I am making jokes.
Well, you know what?
And there's a red chair.
I was going to say there's something red down there. I thought that was like her pants or maybe her boots.
down low. You can see it. They said on the website. I
Uh-huh.
guess some other people went to the website from our chat, and they said it's a chair.
Oh, well,
she's standing
she's on a chair then. Then whatever this thing was
Here I
very,
am
very
joking about
tall.
it. You guys are funny.
You guys are
That's good
actually
stuff.
no. You guys are actually on the ball out there.
Yeah.
That's
Right
awesome.
on.
That's awesome, you guys. Appreciate that. Because
That's
Danny
pretty
can't
good.
do everything. I mean, he
That's
thinks
right.
that
I got too many vacations to take.
Shut
I
up.
thought it was a red wagon. But
You know what? I was thinking the same thing. They took a wagon up there, but you know, hey, but you know that yeah. I mean, I would like to know how tall she is. If someone could go find that out, if it's in the report on their website, and how tall the chair is, because you know, if you're gonna do this right, you need to really document the how tall the chair is and
Right.
how tall you are.
Well, I think they did.
And I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
they would. I mean, if they went all out and did this, then of course you have to put up measurements
Yeah.
and then put up how tall this tree is. But that's awesome.
The main thing is there's monsters out there.
There is monsters out there. Wait.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, there is monsters out there, you guys. Guarantee it, man. Even Danny's now a believer.
Wow. I don't think I want to go out there anymore.
I tell you, after I read today, man, dude, that's just like, yeah. I scared, at the ballpark while we were watching the game. I have relatives there and friends there, and I was telling them about what the show was going to be about tonight and telling them about the missing people, and I freaked them out. They're looking at me and they're going, "Screw camping this year." And the other guy said, we were walking to the car, and he goes, "Now I'm debating not to let my son go to 6th grade camp in Sonora." But you know, no, not a kid had disappeared out of that camp. I went there when I was 6th grade, but all the kids were accountable. No, they're
Really?
okay there.
All of them from that one?
Yeah.
Like Sonora, that's over by Tahoe, isn't it?
No, not too far away. Mariposa. Sonora.
okay.
Like in that area.
Right.
Yeah, there's a camp that.
In between Tahoe and Mariposa.
Okay, if you say so. I don't remember. I was 6th grader. All right, man, that's cool.
That is a cool shot.
All right, we're at a parade now.
All right, yep, we're at a parade. Bigfoot Days was held on Saturday. It was the 55th annual in Willow Creek,
Oh.
so the Bigfoot capital of the world. It takes place every Labor Day weekend.
Yeah, you know what? You know, we went. on our Mount Shasta trip, and we came back.
When everything was closed.
Well, no, everything was open, but there was nothing there. There
You
wasn't.
didn't even go in the museum.
We did go to the museum.
went in there?
Whoopie do.
Was it better than
Saw the
Delta?
footcast.
Yeah, well, there was a Bigfoot museum. They had statues outside, and that's it. It's not like every single store was a Bigfoot store, or no.
Oh, you wanted like Bigfoot,
Dude, I
everywhere,
wanted you. As soon as you walk in or drive in the main street, a Bigfoot throws out a rock and hits your car or something, and
I would have done it.
Yeah, I know you would. And that's what I expect Willow Creek to be. I mean, these guys, whoever is the mayor and the business organization of this town, you guys need to get up and get. This is ridiculous, man. I'm sorry, but
What'd you eat?
I won't go there again. We went to a place where they have the Bigfoot sandwich. The bread was made out of the shape of a foot, and that was like whoopie doo.
Was it? Now wait a minute. Somebody was saying
Take back?
in chat, is our sound not high enough on live stream?
Is it not?
I know it's good enough on DM, or else they would give us a message.
I can turn it up. Let me turn it up.
Alrighty then.
I can turn it up. Check 1 2.
Check.
We're at 13 there, but I'll move it up. If you guys want me to move it up, I'll move it up.
Okay, how does it sound right now?
You're right. It's just like a check 1 2 3 check. Wow, that's weird. I'm at 15.
They said that they have the show turned up real loud, and then when Facebook hits a message, or it goes
hits the
ding
message.
and almost blows them out of their chair.
Why would it do that?
I don't know.
Okay, let's turn that off then.
That might
So
help.
you wanted that Bigfoot burger to kick you back.
Well,
after it
you know
was done.
what? If you're gonna go to Willow Creek, the location where Patty was filmed many moons ago, well, then I expect this town to be hopping with Bigfoot activity stuff, museums, more than just museums, but stores. There wasn't a single store there with Bigfoot stuff.
Well, then you needed to go this weekend then, because the next picture has the Bigfoots.
Yeah, I bet they only do it like one weekend a month.
But
you know.
that's
I don't
those are
even think
costumes.
I don't think they get enough people over there to sustain it.
To be honest, you could get more Bigfoot stuff at the Fresno International Airport than here at Willow Creek. Seriously.
I don't know. I picked up a lot of stuff.
Well, I don't know where you got that stuff, at the Chevron, or where'd you go?
I got a lot of it at the Bigfoot Museum that was there.
Well, yeah, but
Chevron.
that's just big deal. That's just
I mean, you could get more at the Fresno airport
I'm
than
serious.
you could.
I'm
And I
serious.
have.
I know you have. They told me some big old black dude came in and bought out everything.
Yeah, he said he was on the Monsters and Mysteries.
God. And they had to reorder everything. You're keeping them in business, dude.
Yeah.
I don't
And
know.
I went in there and bought everything the one day, and they said they're not going to have any more stuff, right?
Bull crap.
And I went over there and bought all 3 mugs and this and that, what they had left. And then the
Still
next
there.
week, Danny shows a picture. It's got 5 more shelves,
Right. Right.
They probably thought, man, we need more stuff. That stuff's sold out.
Actually, I was just there on Friday, and they have a section with all. I took a picture, put it on my Facebook wall, and I got the business card from the buyer. So I'm gonna call her.
Ooh,
I'm gonna call her on
cool.
Tuesday.
We should put that on our website.
No,
Have a little
I'm going
store.
to call her, and I'm gonna see if they will allow us to put T-shirts and stuff from Paranormal Central in there and
Oh,
stuff
good
like
idea.
that.
Wow.
And that way they could sell, and we get a percentage.
Sweet.
Put your face on them.
Oh God.
Yeah.
They already have that on the front counter, so we can't fly any place. 'cause-
No
Yeah,
checks.
so
We're
I see
wanted.
a pink Bigfoot, but is
We
there
want
any
Not accept checks from
unicorns?
this guy.
Yeah. So okay. Well, anyways, go back to the parade. I mean,
So the-
like I said, I've been there. It's boring. Sorry. I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be honest.
All right. I had fun there.
All right. Yeah. Well.
These pics were all taken by Steven Strufert, and he owns the Bigfoot books that's there on Main Street.
Right.
And the second picture is a couple of Bigfoots riding in the parade.
Oh.
And the next one
Oh.
has our latest research vehicle that
That's
we're going
right.
to take out there.
Yeah. They
Aw,
actually we had
man.
we had to ship it out there.
Wow.
Not people were gonna
We
start
wouldn't
commenting.
get stuck anywhere with that thing.
No, we wouldn't.
The next picture has a Bigfoot hanging out with a couple of bears, because they do go together.
That's not a freaking Bigfoot, dude.
And it's kind of an X-Files type of festival, they say. It includes Bigfoot encounters, which is the Bigfoot's riding on the parade. They have lawnmower races, bobbing for apples, egg balloon tosses, sack races, dunk tanks, eating contests. It's kind of like your average hometown fair.
Yeah.
And the last picture shows the dignitaries riding down Main Street. It looks like a lot of people showed up.
Yeah.
55th annual. Have a big barbecue, live music.
55th? Is that what you said?
55th. Yep.
Man, serious? That's how long ago?
That's how long.
55 years ago, that was when Patty Gimlin film came out.
67. So actually, they've been doing this after the third year they started. Looked like.
Because they've had Bigfoot sightings out into the 1800s in this area, so it was before all that good stuff. But if you like more information, go to willowcreekchamber.com or redwoodsinfo.com.
Man, that's actually pretty cool. We should do one here, because I think we're central to the Bigfoot thing.
We need to really get some solid evidence first. And I think time is. I mean, it's going to be soon.
Yeah,
it's going to be pretty darn soon.
Heck, when we go up and we might have it already and don't even know.
I know, you're right.
We really could.
Yeah, those cameras are still up there. We got to go get them.
Yep.
We have to go get
We
them.
need like a big Indian reservation to have all this festival at.
I wonder
See
what
that?
Indian.
I mean,
I wonder what Indian reservation we could get.
See, I
to
told
do
you we
that.
were centrally located.
I don't
Bigfoot.
know.
That goes back further than the 1800s.
You know, even if they had a casino on the reservation too, I do. You know, that would be awesome. I think even a place like where they have concerts, we can bring in speakers, and hold a massive Bigfoot convention. But I just wouldn't know where to do it.
Yeah, maybe.
So, all right.
All right, the next one is where we get a little scary.
Sorry.
Okay, getting in the scare. Like
So,
that.
doing all this investigation kind of lead me to another website, and I won't say where it is yet, but
You're talking about the guy in the hood? No.
No. This is I'm just talking about where I got all the stories from first.
Got it.
It's a search and rescue officer for the U.S. Forestry Department, and he found a website where he can talk about what he's found out so far, and I'll talk about some of the ones that kind of are Bigfoot related type of thing. But so he went on a training expedition where he talked to other search and rescue team members and just kind of prodded them for information or stories of weird happenings out there in the forest. Anything that, because they don't usually like to talk about something, and they just kind of beat around the bush until somebody else talks about their experience, and it usually ends up being the same experience that they've had. So he started talking around, and he says that he is aware of David Paulides' work, and these stories are some of the ones that are in his book, but he's not writing them from his book. He's telling you what he's heard from other people. So sometimes you get a little more information from these than David was able to get. So maybe we can get this guy hooked up with David, and David can get a little more information that he's looking for.
Right.
Because this is an actual search and rescue officer, and some of the cases that he talks about, he was actually on, and some of them he heard the stories from the people that were there. But so the first one, he talked to a person. He doesn't want to say where he's located because he said he'll definitely get fired, and he doesn't want to use anybody's real name, so he calls this person KD, and she's a 15-year search and rescue officer. He says he's somewhere in the United States. He won't say where, but he said this one was not all the stories are about Bigfoot. Some just missing persons and bodies that are found out in the woods, and he said this one was a big media attention one, so you should be familiar with it. And he said this one is in David Paulides' book. But he says the family went berry picking in an area of the forest close to the park entrance, and they had two little boys with them. Both were under 5 years old. But within seconds, one vanished. So they did a massive search, and they found nothing. So the kid was never there. They couldn't get the dogs to track anything. No scent of him anywhere in the park. So they were thinking, what the kid probably was never here. the dogs would just sit down, or either they sit down or they refuse to track the boy's scent or whatever. But
that's one of his things that doesn't make it in the book if they don't do that, right?
Yeah.
If the dogs don't sit
Very
down,
rare.
Yeah.
So the search lasted 2 months before it was called off.
Wow.
And they never found him. So 6 months later, the family comes to the park for a memorial for their son, and they bring the other kid. And while they're placing flowers on the memorial, which lasted about 3 seconds, and there was many people there, the second boy vanished.
What?
And the parents were devastated. So this time the search is massive, and they have about 300 volunteers spreading out right away looking for this kid. And it's the largest in the state history. 2 weeks later, a volunteer radios that he found the kid, and 15 miles from where the search area, and he's alive and in good health. They said the clothes are clean, there's no dirt on him, and he's found sitting on a log, and he's playing with this twig bundle that's bound together with an old rope.
Yeah, no shoes.
Yep, he has no shoes.
No shoes.
Just about every story he talks about, there's no shoes.
That's the weirdest thing, man. That was a good story. That's scary.
So they asked him where he's been. He says he's been with the Fuzzy Man.
Yeah.
The Fuzzy Man came and got him. And this lady, KD, that told him the story, she firmly believes in Bigfoot. So she asked him, what does he mean by fuzzy? Was he hairy? And he says, no, he wasn't hairy. He was fuzzy, kind of like blurry. He said if you kind of close your eyes halfway, but not all the way, everything kind of looks blurry. He said that's what the guy looked like. He wasn't hairy. He was just fuzzy, kind of blurry. So I don't know. What could this mean, that he was cloaking? I don't know.
Yeah, like
Is
out of
cloaking
focus.
actually real?
Yeah, he said he didn't have a mouth and he didn't have eyes.
Yeah.
Also, but he could
That's weird.
scream really loud because he would like put him. I guess what did he say? He put him inside a stump.
He put him in a hollow tree to
Yeah.
sleep at night.
And he would get mad if he wandered too far. And
Yep, he had a
scream.
designated area. So the thing would scream, but it had no mouth. So I don't know how it did that. It had no eyes that scared him. This one where he says he slept in the hollow tree, that wasn't the only story that I saw that had that in there too.
Really?
But, yeah. But he told him that the Fuzzy Man told him that he wasn't the right person, so he was going to return him back to get a refund, I guess.
Right person.
So that he left him in the forest right there where the people could find him, and they found him 15 miles away from where he disappeared. But his brother was never found.
Right. Some crazy stuff happening up there in the mountains,
Crazy
man.
stuff.
Yeah, he said he was the wrong type, huh? Is that what
he
it
was
was?
the wrong type.
Wrong type.
So I'm hoping I'm the wrong type.
Me too.
Interesting. Yeah, well, you're a throwaway dude, so no one's
Yeah,
gonna
I'm
like
hoping.
Sometimes I think I might be the right type, because
Well, they said that there was another one that he was teamed with another search and rescue officer because there was bears in the area and they were looking for a missing man. And his wife had called and told him that he's always on climbing trips, but this time he was late, and he's never late. So they kind of went up to the area where they thought he would be, and they found him, and he was down a crevasse with a broken leg, stuck down there. So he'd been down there for 2 days. And when they got down to him, found that his leg was infected. So they had to call in the chopper to get him out of there. And the EMT told this guy that while he was in the chopper, he was pretty inconsolable. He kept talking about how he was doing fine when he got to the top of the mountain. But then when he got to the top of the mountain, there was a man there waiting for him. And he thought it was kind of odd because this man had no climbing equipment, and he was standing with his back to him, and it kind of looked like he was wearing a parka and ski pants, kind of like a big man standing there. So he said when he walked up to him, the guy turned around and he could see no face. So he freaked out, and that's when he tried to get off the mountain as fast as he could, and that's when he fell, and he broke his leg, so he couldn't go anywhere. But he said all night, this guy stayed with him. He could hear the guy all night climbing up and down the mountain side without any gear. And he'd get down to the bottom where he was, and he'd let out a horrible, muffled scream, and then he'd go back up. He'd do that all night. But he never really bothered him. He just made a lot of noise. But there's a bunch of those stories in there, and it's kind of weird. They're not all Bigfoot. Some of them involve weird stuff out in the forest.
Yep. Supernatural stuff, man.
Yeah, it's amazing. All kinds of stuff is out there.
Yeah, that's it. So.
Yeah, then like when they talk about the stairways,
Yep.
you know, like a
Well-
stairway.
Let's talk to Dave about that.
So you think he knows about that?
Oh, we'll
He's
find
got
out.
to know about it.
We'll ask him. Shh. Shh. So right now he's probably listening, going, "Oh." All right. Is that it, Mr. Danny?
That's it.
Okay, dude.
It's
All right.
creepy out there.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, man.
All right, Mr. Danny. Thank you very much, sir. And we'll talk
right.
to you next Sunday.
We'll see you guys.
Don't run anybody
Later,
over.
Danny.
Bye.
Bye. All right, let's get into it, man. I am now so anxious to get Mr. David on the phone so we can talk about missing people. Let me go ahead and dial his number. And we will get what the hell? Yeah. Yeah, there's some crazy stuff happening in the mountains. You guys who go camping need to really be careful, man. I'm telling you right now. All right. Mr.
Hello?
Mr. David,
Sir,
how's it going?
who is this?
This is Jeffrey.
Oh, you're calling early, aren't you?
No, 6:40 on our side.
Oh, 6:40. I thought it was 8:40.
No, 6:40 on our side.
Okay.
Is that all right? Are we cool?
Yeah, that's fine.
Oh, okay.
Cool, man.
Because you just sent me a text and you're saying you're ready to go. I'm going, cool, he's ready.
Okay, let me turn the TV off, okay?
Okay. 'Cause that's And as he's turning off the TV, I did say West Coast time, so I think he's in Colorado, if I'm not mistaken. Is that a 1 hour difference or two?
It might be. Well, he said 8, so 2.
2 hours, huh? Okay, that makes sense. That's probably where the confusion.
Jeff.
Hey, that's
Well, just remind me the 3 cases you gave me.
okay. No problemo. I marked them on the book.
Then it's a really
good.
good book.
Yes,
Really good.
It's Eric Duffy
Eric Duffy, okay, got it.
and Nick Wilcox.
Omar Meza, and what was the next one?
Next one is Omar Meza. That one. Yep.
I got those 3.
Okay, awesome. All right, well, if nobody knows who this guy is, then you're on the wrong station. I can tell you that
heard
right
that.
now. For those who don't know, David, we've interviewed David. I think this is the 4th time. When was the first time? Like 4 years ago, maybe?
It was
It
the
was a
first.
while ago.
It was the
while.
first book.
Yeah. Oh, obviously the
First
first
book.
Yeah.
That and I saw my teacher in that book, and I freaked.
And you freaked.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
That-
remember. I was there with you, and you said, "Dude," and I went, "What?" That's my teacher. I said, "You're full of it."
No, it was.
Wow, that's crazy. So, all right. Well, David, thank you very much for coming on tonight. We
sir.
enjoy the heck when when you come on, because this is the stuff that I think the people in the world need to know about, because it's happening all over, not just in one location, but we're talking everywhere. And now you have written, obviously, another book. And what made you decide to go this direction? Obviously, I guess I'm thinking that, with your research on the other side, as far as, the national parks and the mountains, you were getting a whiff of missing people down below, right?
Well, you know what happened is I was doing an interview with George Knapp over on Coast to Coast, and after the interview, George and I talk every once in a while, and he's always said that sooner or later I'm going to end up going into the city and finding some that match up. And that kind of forced me to keep an open eye to the possibility and not get tunnel vision. And I was reading an article one day about a college kid who disappeared Canines did a search. They didn't find any scent. They searched the rivers, the town. They didn't find him. And then a couple weeks later, the kid is in the river right exactly where he was last seen. And nobody could believe he was there because the river was flowing fast, yet he was found right in the exact location that had been searched multiple times. And that kind of made me aware of a few profile points that we key on, and it applied to this kid. And so I started looking further, and there were a series of disappearances in the Great Lakes area, Wisconsin, Minnesota, Chicago, and then over on the East Coast, New York and Boston. So we started paying attention to it.
Okay. All right. So obviously you started to figure out that, wait a minute, this is happening in the city as well. How many people go missing yearly in the United States?
Well, there's tens of thousands that go missing in the United States, but there's only a very, very small percentage of people that go missing that are by an unknown predator or a suspicious disappearance. A lot of kids, those tens of thousands of numbers, are mostly kids that are runaways that are reported as their parents as missing, or maybe a mother abducts the son and the father reports the kid as missing. But there's a very few percentage of those that are an unknown perpetrator or a suspicious disappearance. And then if you cordon that down even smaller to the profile points that we're looking at for the last 5 years in just rural disappearances, parks, national parks, and national forests, the number gets even smaller. Now that number's starting to widen again because it deals with these college-age men and women that have disappeared.
All right. Now, that's what...
See, that's weird. Like, if it was in one city, you would say, oh, well, that could be just, some serial guy,
right,
serial killer guy. But it's not just in one city.
Right. Okay, so in your book, you are pretty much narrowing in we're talking college students, right?
Normally just college-aged men and women, although there's a few. The oldest one I write about is 33, and there's a few cases where the people aren't in college, but they're of that college age, and they fit that profile point of the type of person I'm looking at.
Okay. So what we're talking about then is I went to college, and I remember going to clubs and bars with friends, and a lot of people. What do you do when you go to clubs? You drink.
Yeah.
You get wasted.
I remember
man.
going, but I never remember leaving.
And that's a good. And let's talk about that. People get drunk, man, and people get wasted, and they go home. And what you have been finding is that some of these college students never make it home. Right?
Correct.
Now, most of these, well, actually, I want to say pretty much all of these that you have in this book is the bodies are found in water, in
yes,
rivers or lakes. Okay. Let's talk about, out of the three I just gave you, go ahead and talk about one of those. And let's give everybody an example.
Well, you should tell us, his parameters that he was looking for on that.
Okay, so what we're looking for is college-age men and women disappeared suddenly. People hadn't seen them at the point that they separated from their group. They never, in any of these 100+ cases I wrote about, did anybody ever see the people fall in the water. In some places, the person was on a CCTV camera. The camera pans away, it pans back seconds later, the person's gone, but there's no movement in the area and there's no movement in the water, but the person is gone and they've disappeared.
Whoa.
Now, in the same way that we established geographical clusters, 52 of them in North America in national parks and forests, 52 geographical clusters, it's the same clustering effect here. It's just in college cities and towns. And it's the same sort of scenario. The person is in an establishment, they're drinking with friends, they're talking with friends. The friends say suddenly the person disappears, they lose track of them, they don't know where they went, they call them, they text them, there's no response. The police search the city, they search the taverns, they search the rivers, the lakes, the ponds, they find nothing. And sometimes it's weeks later that the person's found in the exact location that they were searching to begin with. And sometimes it's a stagnant pond that had been gone through with radar, dragging it, etc., and all of a sudden, bam, the person's there. In a lot of these cases, the coroner comes back with a finding that they drowned. A lot of times, there's secondary autopsies that show that the person went in that body of water weeks or many, many days after they disappeared. Water does specific things to the body at a specific rate based on its temperature. Now, in these autopsy findings, a lot of times the coroner will come back and say, well, the person disappeared on January 1st. They've been gone for 45 days, but their body only shows that they've only been in the water for 10 days. Oh. And that's just all the coroner will say.
They won't, like, they can't, sometimes they can still set the date of the death, though, can't they? Like they're gone.
They can get within several days. Mm-hmm. But as the weeks go by, the body does specific things. You lose your hair, right. There's degloving, there's certain things that the body does in water that it doesn't do on land, which is how you can tell how long a body's been in water. In many, many, many of these cases, the people haven't been in water long enough compared to their disappearance. They were somewhere else, but they weren't in the water.
Wow. Do they know if they were, like, sexually molested or anything like that?
Nope, never a sexual molestation.
Wow. Or do they ever give you the exact death? I mean, how the person actually died? I mean, obviously you went and got all the details for the information in your book. A coroner,
they'll tell you.
Yeah, that'll tell you. I mean,
well, that's a peculiar part of these disappearances, which match my previous work.
Right.
Many times the coroners come back and they say, we can't determine the cause of death.
Yeah. Or they know what caused it, but they can't say.
I can only go by what it says in the reports.
Yeah. I hate that. All right. Okay, well, give us an example.
So Eric Duffy, March 3rd, 2012, 1:15 a.m., Stevens Point, Wisconsin. This is an area of Wisconsin that has many of these disappearances. He's 21 years old, outdoorsman, and he's a wildlife and natural resources ecology major. He's a student at University of Wisconsin at Stevens Point, and he was working part-time at Ace Hardware. He was excited on this date because he just landed a field tech job with U.S. Fish and Wildlife. Well, on March 2nd, 2012, it was his birthday. He went out with friends in a downtown Stevens Point, and they went out for a party. His final stop that night was early the next morning at a place called Joe's Bar at 831 Main Street in Stevens Point. And this is about 250 feet from the Wisconsin River. At 1:15 a.m., he told his friends he was going to walk home. He was getting tired, and he was last seen alive walking out the door of the bar. The next day, he didn't report to school, he didn't report to work, he was reported as a missing person, and searchers got on it right away. 150 volunteers and professional searchers scoured the city, the river, everywhere. They brought in canines, they couldn't find a scent. Civil Air Patrol was in the air looking in the river, police were on the ground, nothing. They pinged his cell phone, and it showed he was in that same downtown area at 1:15 when everyone saw him, but then his phone never pinged another location after that. Whoa. On March 4th, a day after he disappeared, divers were in the river, found nothing. March 5th, a body was found, he was found, and the coroner in the river, and the coroners determined that drowning was the cause with his blood alcohol level at 0.18. Now, what's interesting is the night he disappeared, witnesses stated that they heard yells at about 1:30 coming from the area of the river. But in that specific area where they heard somebody yelling, they searched it and they couldn't find anybody or see anything, and nobody responded to their yells. Now, in the research, there's several incidents with people calling for help just as they disappeared, and these people were never found until they were dead.
So they were okay. I don't even want to. I have my theories, but let's continue on. Okay, let me think about this, because we're talking the way things are going. We're talking smart college students that are disappearing. I'm thinking high.
Now, Jeff, therein lies an important point that people forget.
High IQs.
Every one of these cases are very, very smart people that loved the outdoors. They were in top physical condition. They were stellar and brilliant students. We're not talking about drug addicts and alcoholics that are walking the streets of some major cities that fall into the river and drown. These are all brilliant people.
Yep. Yeah, I don't want to give it away right now. I mean, like I said, I read the book, and it's, if you are into the supernatural and stuff, and I know you don't want to go there, David, because that's not what you do. You basically get these cases, you put them in your book, and you have people like us read them and freak out
Yeah.
and not go clubbing ever again, and make our own decisions. All right. Now, smart people. Now, is there anywhere in your research where these people are very attractive people?
I think most of them are really good-looking people, yeah.
Wow. Okay. Right away.
Now,
No, go ahead.
one of the things I wrote about in my last book is I said there's two types of people generally that disappear. There's people that have a disease, they have some type of genetic abnormality, they have dementia, autism, some kind of debilitating disability. That's one end of the spectrum. The other end of the spectrum are these really, really smart people. And at the time, there were a lot of physicists, a lot of physicians that just disappeared under the most unusual conditions. This book picks up where that ended, where we're at that end of that intellectual spectrum, where these are the best of the best. Now, I know people that are hearing this for the first time are saying, come on, man, these are just idiots that fell in the water and drowned. And yeah, there might be geographical clusters of them, but that's a fluke. And what I tell people about this is that if this was happening generally as drunk students falling in, then it would happen uniformly across the United States, where every university had a river, pond, or river flowing near it, and this would be a constant occurrence everywhere. But that is not what's happening.
Right.
These are specific areas, and on the back of the book, there's a map that shows where these things are happening, and it's clustering around large bodies of water, the Great Lakes, Chicago, Wisconsin, Minnesota, Boston, New York, etc.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's not like one predator person.
No. To me, so far,
know.
it sounds like these people are being picked for a certain reason.
Yeah.
That's what it's hitting me right off the bat. Okay, shoot for another example.
Okay, Nick Wilcox, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, 24 years old, January 1st, 2013. He was raised in a city called Wales, Wisconsin, just not very far at all from Milwaukee. He attended University of Wisconsin at Milwaukee, loved the outdoors. He was a studly outdoors person. He hiked Long's Peak at Rocky Mountain National Park. He was supported. He had always supported himself 100% while he was a student. He worked. He went to school. He never got in trouble. Just an outstanding kid. He went to the first 2 years of school and got an AA degree in criminal justice. Then he went on to University of Wisconsin. He liked to play golf, baseball, volleyball, and fished. His friends called him just an all-around great guy. On January 31st, 2012, he went downtown to Milwaukee drinking with some friends. And according to his girlfriend, they were in the bar for a while with a bunch of people, and he rubbed somebody the wrong way, which was strange, and he was told to leave the bar. As he was leaving the bar, there were two police officers outside a place called the Irish Rec Room, and they talked to him for about 5 or 10 minutes. He was with another friend, and it was obvious that he wasn't drunk. The police officers just talked to him, let him go, and he walked away. The next day, he was reported missing because he didn't show up at his apartment, and nobody knew where he was. And that started an extensive search of the downtown area and the area he was last seen. His last cell phone activation was next to the bar that he was stopped at with the police, and it wasn't activated and it didn't ping anywhere else. A couple days later, two Milwaukee police officers saw a body next to the Irish Rec Room in the water. They recovered it, and in the wallet, inside a pocket that the body had on, it was Nick's. He was found just 350 feet from where he was last seen. The coroner said he died accidentally with a blood alcohol level of 0.22. What the article said was that this river flowed very fast. It was 3 months after he disappeared that the body was found, yet the body never moved, and nobody could believe it. All the articles said ice melts, waters rise, and the current increases. Total days missing, 87 days. His father was called in by the police and told, "Oh, your son just fell in and drowned." His dad said, "I never believed this was the drowning. This has always been foul play. There's no way that body would have just stayed in one location in the river." Now, the coroner did state that it was their belief that he did fall in that area and it was an accidental drowning, but the coroner didn't understand how Nick ever got in the water to begin with.
Okay. There's one thing that I don't think I've ever asked you, David, is, after you write your latest book, knowing what you know now, do you have a hunch of maybe how or what's going on here?
Well, it's funny, Jeff, is that when I wrote the first book, you got to remember that the same profile points that I wrote in that first book are consistent with this last book, 5 books later.
Mm-hmm.
And when I finished the first book, everybody came out and said, that Paulides, he knows what's happening here. He's just not saying it. And, that's bad professionalism, and he's not really credible because he doesn't just say it. And he knows it's Bigfoot all along. And all the time I'm saying, I keep an open mind about what's going on, and I'm not going to say it's something until I have all the evidence on the table.
Mm-hmm.
And when we first started, we were looking at national parks. Then we looked at U.S. national forests and rural areas. And now we're looking at a different spoke in that same wheel.
Right.
And what I say is, how many spokes are in that wheel that we're going to find in the future?
Okay, well, we can eliminate Bigfoots in the cities. I mean, not unless it's Harry and the Henderson, but otherwise, that's it. I mean, you can't. I mean, there's no Bigfoots are not abducting these college students and identifying. That's just absolutely ridiculous on this particular book right now. So I'm going to say Bigfoot's out. But then you compare what's happening in this book to the first book, and so possibly there might be some cases where Bigfoot might come into the picture, maybe, but we're not saying that it's happening to all of the missing people. But, what we talk about here, David, is we talk about paranormal, supernatural stuff. All right? That's what it sounds like to me here. And now I'm not saying that people are disappearing just like out of thin air, poof, right? In another dimension or whatever. They're picking these people for a reason.
It's almost like a conspiracy thing.
They're picking these people for a reason.
Somebody's profiling.
Exactly. There you go. Profiling.
Yeah.
But for what purpose? They're now a majority of the one. Obviously, no. I'm going to take that back. All of the ones in the latest book, they're finding the bodies. Is there a lot? I mean, there might be quite a bit of them where they're not finding bodies.
Right.
Correct? Well, you know what, Jeff? Oh, somebody told me a while ago, they said, Dave, you have an open mind on things. And have you read Chris O'Brien's book, Stalking the Herd? And I said, I actually did. And I realized that there are some things here that make some sense with what Chris has written about regarding animal mutilations. Namely, with animal mutilations, it's pretty evident that the carcass is dumped in a certain area. And if you read the book, my latest book, you're going to come to the conclusion that these bodies are dumped in the water for a specific reason. Now, the bodies can be dumped anywhere. They could be buried and you'll never find them. Now, in Chris's book, he talks about that these carcasses are dumped in certain areas where they will be found. They're not dumped in the middle of the forest. They're not placed someplace where they'll never be seen. They're oftentimes dumped in the same pasture where they disappeared from. And that's exactly what's happening here. They're dumped in the backyard of the person that disappeared in the same location to be found. There's no doubt.
That is a trip.
Right.
To even
Anybody ever think? Did you guys ever think of that?
No, not
man.
actually. Because if someone was going to abduct somebody for a reason, they're going to kill them, do whatever, and bury them 6 feet under, so that way you can't find any evidence.
Right. Yeah. goes
you
against
know,
what you think you're
Yes,
going to do.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, whatever is
Whoa.
taking these people, they have a conscience?
I don't know if they have a conscience or they're trying to send a message, but
There
as
you go. I like
the
that.
people before me, I give a lot of credence to Kevin Gannon, a homicide detective from New York police, that first started to recognize that these bodies in the water weren't in the water in the entire time, and that there had to be a homicide involved. And he called it early. And I just took his work and magnified it times 100, and presented evidence that he wasn't aware of when he was doing his work. And that is that this isn't just happening in certain areas of the U.S. It's happening in Spain. It's happening in the U.K. It's happening around the world. So it can't be one person. And I have cases going all the way back to the early 1900s that match the same profile.
What about, and I think Ellen mentioned this, organization of some type?
I'm sorry, what, Jeff?
An organization that's doing
So,
this.
And that the same issue comes up when you talk about a world disappearance. If you go to an organization or you go to a person, then I don't understand how they can't leave a scent track, how they can't leave tracks,
Yeah, it has
And-
to be like.
and how they could kill somebody and the coroners can't determine the cause of death.
Well, if they throw them in the water, and for being in the water, let's say, for example, somebody gets injected with something, or let's say I'm just going to say DNA. Let's say that somebody retracts DNA from a body. If you put them in the water, the body eventually will. If there's a type of injection hole in his arm, won't the water after a couple of days cover that up?
No.
Not necessarily, no. In fact, the coroners in these cases make a very thorough search of the body looking for injection sites, and they note that, and they don't find it. And there's toxicological screening that goes on of blood, urine, tissue, and they don't find these things. There's a specific profile they go by to identify a cause of death. And there's this, I won't say who it is, but there's a coroner for a major city in the U.S. that read my work early on. And we met and we talked and we communicate regularly. And they have said, Dave, there's a group of us that know that this is going on. It's unusual, and we can't figure it out.
Yeah, because man, it really. I mean, like, when he said, like, what message are they sending? That sounds like a major clue. Like, you really have to think like that, or
All right. Well, let's think that.
are they
Why?
being blatantly taking people's DNA somehow, and they don't just trashing the body? You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
I don't know why they would do that. I mean, it's so easy to get DNA now, and if they've been doing it.
I mean, you can
since
swab the inside of somebody's mouth and get DNA, right?
even easier than that. I mean, you could wipe a handkerchief on somebody's arm. I mean, but only. I mean, what was it? Mickey said you could even breathe on something.
Right.
I mean,
Mickey Burrell from Fresno PD.
but only he was saying that goes back to the 1800s. So now your technology is.
Oh, sure.
I mean,
But
today
you don't even need to make physical contact with somebody to get DNA. I remember years ago when I was a policeman, we were watching somebody and they put a cigarette out on the ground. We picked that up and we got DNA off of that.
Right. Yeah.
So why?
So you don't even need to make contact with them.
Right.
Yeah.
So they're keeping these bodies for sometimes a lengthy time. When if they were trying to get DNA, they could do it right off the bat and get rid of the body. I mean, that fast. But if there's a search party going on, they would have to wait until the search party finishes doing what they're doing.
Well, I saw something in chat that kind of was like a trip. They said, what if it was time travelers? And these people, especially these smart ones, were going to do something great or that would be bad for whoever.
Man, someone's really thinking out of the box on this
Yeah,
one.
and they're coming back, and taking them out.
Wow. Like Terminator.
Yeah, kind of like.
Okay.
Well, there's some of these cases involve a real insight into what happened because the person, at the time they disappear, they're on the phone. Now, there's a case involving a guy named Dan Zamlin, Z-A-M-L-E-N, April 5th, 2009, 2:30 a.m., St. Paul, Minnesota, 18 years old. And you talk about a kid with outstanding character. It made me cry when I wrote this.
Whoa.
And he was raised in Evelyn, Minnesota, 50 miles north of Duluth, very close to Lake Superior. The U.S. Hockey Hall of Fame is in this guy's city. He's in a geographical cluster of missing people in Evelyn. His parents, Dale and Sally Zamlin. He was a member of the Resurrection Catholic Church. He was an altar boy, Sunday school teacher, Eagle Scout, outstanding pianist. He lettered in 3 sports in high school. He was a National Honor Society member and an academic all-around scholar. He played in the band and the orchestra. He traveled to Mississippi for Habitat for Humanity. And in 2008, he graduated from his high school with enough advanced credits to start college as a sophomore. There is no cleaner-cut kid than this.
You know,
And an outstanding person at every level. This is the part that kills you. He enrolls at the University of St. Thomas in St. Paul, Minnesota. It's a private Catholic liberal arts school, 4 blocks to the Mississippi River and 1 mile south of the University of Minnesota. He received 6 different scholarships to attend the school. He was a type 1 diabetic with an insulin pump. These are important little points that put him at that one end of the spectrum. But he's at both ends. He has some kind of disability, plus he's this all-around person. On April 4th, Dan and friends went to a party in the 2100 block of St. Clair Avenue near St. Paul. He's 6 blocks east of the Mississippi River. He leaves the party at 2 a.m. A friend named Anna calls him and asks, "Where are you going? Come on back to the house." She drove towards where he was walking away. As they're talking on the phone, and she's less than a block away, he says, "Oh my gosh, Anna, where are you? Help." The voice grew distant with the last few words, and the phone cut off. That's the last time anybody heard from him alive. He was gone.
isn't this?
Now those words again. "Oh my gosh, Anna, where are you? Help."
Whoa. Man,
Now-
that's true.
So there's a few of these cases, guys, just like this. So later on in the day, he's reported as a missing person. His father eventually came to the Minnesota House of Representatives, and testified that 8 different bloodhound teams searched for his son and never went near the Mississippi River, but stayed blocks away. They brought in side-scanning sonar and used it in the river for 4 days and found nothing scanning the bottom and the banks of the river. After 4 entire days, the search effort was called off. And people just believed Dan disappeared but weren't sure where. On May 1st, almost a month after he disappeared, at the Ford Motor Plant on the Mississippi River intake section for water for the plant, they find his body. His wallet and ID are on the body, and the coroner says he died by freshwater drowning. The police state that they don't know where, when, or how Dan entered the river, and they don't know how they missed the body. Now, there was a second autopsy on the body, and GHB, which is a date rape drug, was found in his liver in large amounts.
Ooh.
Now, the parents have stated many times that they don't believe the police investigated this as a serious crime, and they just wanted to wash their hands of it immediately. Now, one thing that the police did do is they talked to a lot of witnesses, and they couldn't find anybody that saw anything, never saw him near the river. And at the time he was talking to his friend, he was no more a block away from the party, making him 4 blocks from the river. Now, he's the second person I wrote about that was found near a Ford Motor Plant in a river. And it's strange because Dan was found in a neighborhood in St. Paul called in the river near a neighborhood called Hiawatha. What's interesting about that is there was a statue named Hiawatha where other bodies were found in this book near a river.
What?
It's strange. It's called the Hiawatha statue, and very strange. But in this book, or in this story, the key points are the police said he wasn't in the river. They don't know how they missed him. He was never near the river when he disappeared. GHB, I've written about in multiple cases, and Kevin Gannon talked about it when he was investigating the cases, that somehow these bodies have GHB in them. What GHB does to you is it makes you almost paralyzed. You realize you're awake, but you can't move. That's why it's called a date rape drug. So in essence, if you had large amounts of GHB in your body and you were dropped in that river, it's going to look like you drowned, because GHB leaves your body so rapidly, unless the coroners were on it right after you died, they're never going to find it. And GHB is not one of those drugs that they screen for in toxicology.
Yeah, they didn't even have that back in the 1800s. I mean, this is
Now, GHB is something that the body, and this is something weird now, GHB is something that the body naturally produces in very small levels. But in the quantities it's seen in the people I write about, it's impossible. The coroners state that that's impossible. It had to have been administered somehow, but they don't know how.
wow.
Okay, now Hiawatha. I just Googled that, and it came up with obviously Native American, an Indian. Is there any correlation to Native American land?
None.
None.
It was just one of those correlation points well, there's 3 cases in one city where the Hiawatha statue in the city was close by, and they talk about it in all the articles. And this guy was picked up near the Hiawatha neighborhood in St. Paul.
Dang. Man, this is a good one.
Okay.
Right here. This will make somebody's head spin.
All right. I'm just trying to, my theory now is probably out the door. So yeah, thanks, David.
Let me give you one more. Guys.
Okay.
This one will turn your head around. This would be like The Exorcist. Todd Geib, 22 years old, June 11th, 05, 1 a.m., Casnovia, Michigan, 25 miles north of Grand Rapids. There's an established cluster of missing people 50 miles north of Casnovia near Weber and Ludington that we've established. Geib was an outdoorsman, trophy fisherman, deer hunter, played basketball, baseball. He was described as having a super dry sense of humor, strong religious ties, Protestant and Catholic. He had one vice in life, and that was smoking. He had a German and Polish background, which is interesting to me because I've written about in other books that there is some correlation between Germans and these disappearances. He had strong family ties, really strong family ties. His parents lived 5 miles away in Ravenna. On June 11th, 05, at 6 to 6:30, he drove from his parents' house to his house. He had dinner at his folks' house. He drove back home to his house where he was living with his cousin. They spoke for a while, and at 7:30, they drove to a local bar and met friends for some drinks. At 9:30, they left the bar and walked to a local annual party that was always had in this orchard. Keg, bonfire, about 50 people. There was good weather. At 12 a.m., Todd told his friends that he was tired. Now, this is something in these cases that you're going to see time after time after time. The person, for some reason, separates themselves from people. Normally, it's they're tired, they don't feel well, something, and they step away. Todd says he doesn't feel well and says he's going to walk home. Todd spent years in the area where this party was at. He knew it like his own backyard. Everybody said this. So as he's walking away and walking to his home a short distance away, he made 4 phone calls. First one, the calls were made between 12:45 and 1 a.m. At 12:47, he called a friend, and he said he was in a field. Boom, the call drops. Friend called back, thought he heard heavy breathing or wind. Another call said that he had trouble breathing, and he was in a field. Call dropped. Now, I wrote about a case in my last book called Cullen Finnerty, 50 miles north of here. Cullen was fishing along a bank. He called his wife, heavy breathing, said he was being followed, said he was scared. He disappeared. He was found dead. Todd was supposed to be at a family event the next day and didn't show up. The search started that next day. There were false rumors that he had an altercation at the party. It wasn't true. On June 13th, 100 searchers combed this area. They put up helicopters. The Civil Air patrolled. Swamps were searched by boats with people in them. The residences in the area were all searched. They brought in dogs. They couldn't find a scent. On and on and on, nothing. Now, this all happened on June 11th, June 12th. Now, there's one small body of water on the west side of Ovid Hall Lake. It's 1,000 feet long and it's narrow. Not easily accessible. You have to walk to it. And some locals fish it. Well, people did fish the lake May 17th to May 18th. And those people used radar. They were looking for fish. They went around the whole lake around its perimeter. 2 people said, we were all over that lake. There was nothing in the lake really large. We looked all over the bottom, nothing. So, as it happens, July 2nd at 5 p.m., a husband and wife are walking down to the lake, and they see something, in their words, protruding from the water. They get down to it, it's a human body, and they describe it floating like a bobber. They recover the body. Todd's hat, his cell phone, and 1 shoe are missing. He had been missing for 21 days, and he was in the exact opposite direction from the party as his house was. So he didn't walk from the party towards his house. Something happened, and he ended up completely the opposite direction in the middle of the lake, dead. The lake had been searched numerous times. He wasn't in it when it was searched. The on-scene coroner that recovered the body classified the case as suspicious from the beginning. There was no rigor mortis in the body. There was no ice in the lake. And the coroner couldn't determine if there was any lividity or the settling of blood in the body. As you lay on your back, say, after you died, the blood settles in your buttocks and your lower back. Well, in Todd's case, there should have been lividity because he was in a calm lake. It should have settled at the lower end of his body, but it didn't. He had hair on his head, so he lost no hair. There was swelling around the eyelids, and the coroner couldn't determine the color of the iris. But the body was described after being gone 21 days as in pristine condition. He had a blood alcohol level of 0.12. Now, the coroner said he drowned, but it was undetermined how he got in the water. And the coroner even stated in the report that there was no water in the lungs. The family said, there is no way this is true. They hired a really famous coroner, medical examiner, named Dr. Cyril Wecht. He reviewed the case. And he stated that Todd was dead or unconscious when he entered the water. Photos of the body were taken to a medical examiner's conference and showed to dozens of medical examiners. And it was the unanimous opinion of all medical examiners that the body had not been in the water 20-plus days. And it was the opinion of Wecht and of the people examining it that he had to have been held somewhere 15 to 18 days and then placed in the water to die. They tried to get the Michigan State Police to change the cause of death from drowning to murder, and they refused.
That's a trip. Now, while you were telling that one, the water thing, okay, one of the things that we get reports of is UFOs, that we go and we investigate UFO reports. And one of the places that we hear about them hiding in or coming out of all the time, bodies of water. I mean, they'll be in drainage. What do they call them? Rain
Ponding basins.
Ponding basins, rivers, lakes, even the ocean. That would be the only thing. I mean, they would be able to do that. Like the technology, kind of weird paranormally.
Now, obviously, these people are all types of races. I mean, you're talking, white, black, probably Hispanic, Asian. Because I was thinking, are there any relationships to these people? Like, if you go through Ancestry, maybe, and see if they're like related in any type of way. Because the only thing I can think of is they're taking these people for DNA.
Yeah.
That is the only reason. I mean, I can think is the DNA. I mean, these people are special in a certain way. That's what I feel. They're special.
So there are very, very few black and Hispanic people that fit this profile that have been taken. There are a few, but very few. Very few Asians. The majority are white males. And of the heritages that I could track down, the vast majority that I could determine were German.
Whoa.
Now, if you look at the history of Wisconsin, where probably 40 or 50% of these have occurred. Look at the history of Wisconsin and the settlers, and look at their background, and the majority of them were German.
Yeah, they're all like over from that area. Otherwise, they barbecue brats.
So you're telling me Hitler's still alive when he's doing experiments?
But he's killing his own people.
Yeah, and taking their DNA. Man, I tell you, this is good stuff. Really good stuff. I haven't read this book, but I'm going to.
Yeah,
I read all the other ones, though.
I was trying to figure, a possible theory, but the only thing I can think of, David, seriously, is they're getting their DNA. But for what purpose?
Man, you have a way of scaring people. This one is good scary. Real scary.
Yeah, just don't be smart. Don't be attractive. Don't be trying to get a doctor degree.
I mean, I was looking at the map, and and I was thinking, well, we don't got to worry on the West Coast, but yes, we do if we live near L.A. or the bigger cities. You do. I mean, it's everywhere. And then what's really weird is he narrows it down to this really small profile. And it fits on all those places. That's the part that blows me away. If it was one city, then, you could maybe bust this one, but you can't bust this. This is big.
So do you think, well, no, I can't say that because you don't know. I don't know. What do you think, David? Come on, you have to have a theory about this.
Well, I do think that, number one, this isn't an accident.
Right.
No.
And there was, in the book I write about, there's a city in Wisconsin where there were a lot of these. And the city was in a turmoil, and the people and the parents knew that something really odd was going on. And the police kept saying, oh, this is just drunk college kids falling in the water and dying. And they said, hey, we're going to quell your concerns. We're going to hold a city community meeting at the gymnasium at the high school. Well, needless to say, it was packed. And the police chief goes in and tries to quell the community's concerns by saying exactly the things I've told you. Oh, they just drowned, it's just college kids doing stupid things, blah, blah, blah. Essentially, the guy was yelled out of the room because the people didn't believe his rhetoric. And because there were all of a sudden these parents of some of these victims that said, you know what, it's going to cost me $5 or $10,000. I'm going to get a second autopsy. All of the second autopsies came in showing counter results to what the primary autopsy said. Gannon has a quote that I use in the book, and I quote it to him, is that local reports for local consumption, meaning that a local coroner or a local police chief will write a report that's going to quell that local community's concerns.
Now, if the coroner at the very beginning is not telling the truth, I mean, that's illegal, though. If he's not giving...
They're hiding it, too, real good.
Right. Then someone is obviously making them not tell the truth. I mean...
Everybody has a boss, right, Jeff?
Right.
Yeah, that's right.
Same goes for the National Forestry and the sheriffs and...
Sure.
Yeah. Got to shut up or lose your job.
Now, on this next case, let me take a little bit of a left turn.
No.
Let me take a little bit of a left turn for you.
Great.
So this guy named Stephen Kubacki, 23 years old, February 1978, Holland, Michigan, very close to the area where the case I just gave you about in Tide Guide. He was a student at Hope College in Michigan, part of the Reformed Church of America, 30 miles north of South Haven, 76 miles south of Ludington and Baldwin, that same geographical area. Now, I will tell people, stop right here, get out a pen and paper, and listen carefully. There's a book called The Great Lakes Triangle, written many years ago, and it talks about this area of the Great Lakes with many disappearances, human, boats, airplanes. It's a fascinating book, and it includes the areas that I've been talking about around the Great Lakes that have these unusual disappearances. It's been going on for decades. Now, in February 78, Stephen's attending Hope College. He was trying to get a degree in German.
Ooh.
On February 19th, he told his roommates he was going to go cross-country skiing along Lake Michigan in an area called Saugatuck. When he didn't return that night, they filed a missing persons report. Michigan State Police organized the search. They called the Coast Guard, tracking dogs, helicopters, and they started looking along the beach. State Police found his skis and poles and footprints on the beach, and they found the footprints leading 200 yards out onto Lake Michigan on the ice. They went out 200 yards, stopped, no tracks coming back. In an article, it said that the police believe that Stephen had walked out on the ice, fell in, and drowned and disappeared. Now, fast forward 15 months, May 5th, 79. Kubacki came back to life. Stephen says he woke up Saturday night 40 miles from his father's house in South Deerfield, Massachusetts. John Kubacki, his dad, 53-year-old, that he thought his son was dead. He was told that he drowned in Lake Michigan, fell through the ice. And Stephen said that he lost consciousness at some point and awoke in Pittsfield, Massachusetts, lying in a meadow wearing clothes that weren't his. He was 700 miles east of Lake Michigan. In 1983, Stephen went forward and got an MA in linguistics from Ohio University. In 92, he got a PhD in clinical psychology from the University of New Mexico. He's a psychologist living in the United States. I tried calling him. He wouldn't return my call. I emailed him. He wouldn't return my email.
Wow.
Now, on this case, brilliant student, missing, in or around water, no memory, lost time and space. Reporters asked him at the time if he'd see a psychiatrist. He said, no, I don't have any psychological problems. What do you think of that?
Dang.
Okay, now
That one's a trip.
okay. You know, David, by saying all this, you're talking now supernatural, man. You are. I mean, you pretty much put it out there, dude. So now we got to go there.
You know, what I do, Jeff, is I just report the facts.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well. Okay. Well.
This matches the profile of everything I've written about, and this is one of those cases where the guy actually came back to tell us he's alive, and he's somehow been alive for 15 months somewhere, but probably not anywhere we know about.
Right.
See, this is the Donald Marshall. That goes in Donald Marshall country right there. I don't know if you ever heard of that guy, but look him up on Facebook. It's a trip.
Okay.
But that
I mean,
sounds like Donald Marshall area.
Disappearing and reappearing over a year later. That is, we're talking space time.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what we're talking about here, David. And I know you're trying to stay away from giving anybody, what you really think is going on, and I understand. But I mean, it's pretty damn obvious that this guy just disappeared and reappeared a year later. Where in the hell was he? I mean, footprints going out to the ice and disappearing. I mean, come on.
That's UFOs or...
You know what I'm saying?
So what I want you guys to think about is put yourself in the position of us doing the research. This, Jeff, this ought to be front page news on every newspaper in America.
Yeah.
And how can we do that? Or how can I present myself as a credible person and just report the facts and get the visibility this needs for the families that have lost their loved ones?
Right. Oh, I know how we can do this. Wait until we get on TV.
Hey, now, okay, I got a question out of chat, and it's just about your books. Are you ever going to have them on Kindle, like in the
No, they won't be on Kindle. I could barely manage the process as it is. There's 8 different forms of ebooks. I do one, and somebody's unhappy I didn't do the 7 others. I'm just not even going to touch that area.
I'm with you, but only they keep asking on here, so I thought I would just ask. I know that.
Sure.
I know, like when a lot of people, like, they'll tell me when you're a guest, and then I get this blowback like later about how much the books are, and then I point them in the right direction where they're,
Oh, by the way, where
reasonable,
can everybody get your books? What's the website?
Yeah, if you guys can believe this, already somebody has bought my book, the new book, and put it on Amazon for $200.
I believe it.
Well, I was trying to get 250, but
yeah. People don't understand. I'm not selling on Amazon. I have never sold on Amazon. You go straight to our website. The book's $24.95, and the website is Can-Am, like Canadian American, canammissing.com. Do not go to buy it from Amazon. These people are just ripping others off.
No,
so
let them go
stay
buy.
away.
Let them go buy the first 2 books. That's me. Just kidding. All right. All right. Okay. There's a lot of people who don't know anything about your past 4 books. Give everybody, because we have thousands of new followers now, and give them a brief description on when you were mentioning about was it Lake Michigan and the triangle. And
Right.
I know you know that we live at the bottom left-hand corner of the Nevada Triangle. That
Yep.
And that includes the Sierras, Yosemite, and that way. And what happens in that location? Missing people, missing airplanes.
In fact, I used to fly with James Arthur that was in your first book. In a junior high, I was in the Civil Air Patrol, and I would fly missions with him, looking for people, search and rescue, in his plane.
And now he's missing.
Yeah, now he's missing. And missing exactly around 7 or 8 miles from where I saw a Bigfoot in the same year that I saw the Bigfoot.
Now, we're not saying he got abducted by a Bigfoot.
Right, I'm just saying,
but
all those things
this
are
happened
true,
in the Nevada Triangle.
Right.
Okay?
Now, James Arthur was like the nicest person in the world.
Yeah.
An older man, tried to do good for the community, and disappeared in the middle of the Sierras and has never been found.
Never.
And that's kind of, again, it goes back to they bring canines in. There's no tracks. There's no evidence where he was, other than where they found his car, et cetera, et cetera. This started about 6 years ago. I was in a national park doing some peripheral research on another topic. A couple of rangers were following me around the park. At the end of the day, I come outside the park. I go back to my room. I get a knock on the door a couple hours later. And outside is a plainclothes person. He says, "Hey, I'm one of the National Park Rangers that was following you. I'm off duty. I have some information I want to tell you." He goes and he tells a story that he and other park rangers have talked, and they've all worked at other national parks, other missing persons cases that they've worked. And they said it troubles them that at the beginning when someone disappears, there's a lot of publicity, there's a big effort to find the person, but at that 7 to 10 day cycle, everything stops, and there's no more effort, there's no follow-up, there's nothing. And he says, it's not only that, but it's also that the location of the person that disappears, we should find them and we don't. And the place that they disappear is odd. It doesn't make sense to us. And they made attempts to find out information on some of the cases, and they were thwarted, and they couldn't find it. And they said, "Dave, somebody really needs to make an effort to do some research on this and find out really what's going on." And from that, I contacted law enforcement people. I said, "Hey, what do you think of this?" They looked into it. They said, "Wow, there's something here." I filed a series of Freedom of Information Act requests against the National Park Service asking for a list of missing people from the National Park System. Why would I do that? Because they have a group that has hundreds and hundreds of National Park Rangers that are sworn law enforcement officers, went to the National Law Enforcement Training Center. They're federally trained. They carry guns. They're full-time law enforcement. And they have a bureaucracy of law enforcement inside their system with a chief, an administrator, directors, etc. They know how to do their job. They know the importance of keeping lists. As an example, don't you think keeping a list of missing people would be something they would want to do? Especially if a body was found somewhere, they could attach it to this list. Well, I get a call back from an attorney, and an attorney from the Park Service says, "Mr. Paulides, why do you want a list of missing people?" And I said, "Well, according to the Freedom of Information Act, that's an improper question, and you can't use it if I get the list or not. That can't be used." He says, "No, we want to know why you want the list." I go, "I want it for my own research." And he goes, "Well, we don't have any lists." I said, "Then why do you care what the reason is?" And he says, "Well, we don't have any lists." I says, "Well, that can't be true." He says, "No." I said, "Well, I'm a published author, so I'm going to use the author's exemption in the Freedom of Information Act, and I want a copy of the list from there and from Yosemite." And they got back to me weeks later, and they said, "Well, we did the research, and your books aren't in enough libraries to qualify for an author's exemption."
They found a loophole.
Well, there is no such criteria.
Right.
You can look as long as you want. That's just something made up.
Oh, made
And
up.
you know they have a list.
Oh,
They absolutely do.
since it's coincidence that you're bringing that up, I got a message through email and a question actually, and somebody states that if you had the 1.4 million that you needed, to get the answers that you're looking for, do you think they would give them to you?
They would have to.
Now,
Wow.
would you think that they'd be the factual truth?
That's the $1 million question, isn't it?
It sure is. If they would even
Now,
take the
here's
money.
the issue. Here's the issue that people don't know. I've talked about it before, but I don't talk about it during every interview. I will now. The National Park Service has a criteria. It's called missing presumed dead. After 10 years, technically, there's nobody missing anymore inside the Park Service because they're presumed dead.
Right.
So now they come off of every database that's listed as missing because they're no longer missing. They're dead.
Oh, wow.
But
They're going on a different list.
Without no proof, huh?
Oh, no, there's nothing.
There's nothing. Now, let's talk about, now when you were saying confidential and keeping everything under wraps, example, Mayuki Hardwood, a couple of weeks ago, you sent me a message stating, hey, what do you know about this lady? And I said, this is the first I've been hearing about it. And so what I did is I posted it on my Facebook wall. And because, you heard it, you actually saw it in the Sacramento Bee. Now, the Fresno Bee and the Sacramento Bee are owned by the same company. They're the same freaking newspaper, man. And that was not in the Fresno Bee. The media
Why not, Jeff?
The media was not talking about it. After you gave me the information and the picture of the lady, I posted it on my Facebook wall. That night, every single media was running it. And it came out in the Fresno Bee the following morning.
Why wouldn't they cover a big story like that?
Because they do not want to let us know what's going on. I mean, everybody knows that, our show comes out of Fresno. The media follows me. Big time, dude. Down here. NBC, CBS, ABC, Fox. They all follow me. I got the news anchor at Fox. He's a big fan of the show. And I don't know if maybe the higher-ups at the forestry department contacted all of them about the case and said, go and it's time to really, release it. Or did they hear it because I posted it on my Facebook because they're all friends and they follow me as well. But, dude, they were keeping that a secret because I didn't hear about it until you told me. And I said, what the hell is this? Why don't I know about this? And then the hiker in Yosemite that went missing right around August, almost the same time as Mayuki did, didn't he? They just found his body where? Over a freaking cliff, dead. All right? Now, this other one that I was telling you about, they found her body near Pine Flat Lake, Trimmer Springs Road. Last week, I actually played the audio of the press conference from Chief Dyer. They found remains of bones. They said it looked like the body has been eaten. Obviously, when you die, you get eaten by the forest animals. But he even said on the air, we did not find any clothes. And I could not believe he actually said that. And you could see his face. He was so dumbfounded, and then he said, there's no foul play involved.
Well, just so people know, I mean, the stories in my books are two of the big profile points is that people are found with missing clothes or missing shoes.
So they're keeping this stuff under wraps, you guys. Obviously, they don't want to know. They don't want you to know about it. And there could be a number of reasons. Well, obviously, if you knew the truth, you're not going to go camping anymore. All right? It's just, I was telling everybody right before the show, I was at my son's baseball tournament, and we were sitting underneath the canopy, and I was telling him who my guest was on tonight and your books, and I scared the crap out of them, David. And they said, "What the hell with camping anymore?" Because they have no clue. They were looking at me like, "Are you effing serious?" And seriously, they were going to go camping in a couple of weeks, and they said, "Whoop, that's it." Because they mentioned, "Oh, we're going to go up to Courtright, or we're going to go up to Washawn, and I'm going, or the Shaver." And I said, "You better think again." And seriously, they're now. I mean, I scared them, man, because they had no freaking clue. No clue. This we need to tell. I mean, it's all about the safety. Like I said, the first time I had you on, There's one case that really freaked me out, and it's when kids go missing. I have 2 kids, and it would kill me. I don't know if I would be able to live the rest of my life on Earth knowing that one of my sons disappeared and I could never find him again. People need to know about these missing people, and especially in our parks, because, 100,000 millions of people go up to these parks every year, and they don't come back home, man, and it's not right. So,
No.
I appreciate what you're doing here. And like I said, once my show goes national, now with you having, now with you coming on my show for the 5th time, who knows if I get a national show now, David? Thank you. But no, I mean, it's like as soon as it happens, dude, trust me, you're gonna come on and we're gonna tell the world about what's going on, and because people need to know. And it's scary. It's really, after the first book, man, we go camping. We have a 5th wheel. We go camping at all these places up in the Sierras that you talk about in your freaking book. And I don't let my son, 10-year-old Christian, out of my sight within 10 feet. I follow him everywhere. Because in your books, man, there's children who go around a bush or around a tree, and that's it. They're gone. And that scares the shit out of me, man.
Hey, there's a boy, 2 years old, Dior Kuntz Jr., missing from Limeheight County, Idaho. He's been missing a month. He was camping with his mom, his dad, and his grandparents. Disappeared. They brought the FBI in, searched for a month. They have found nothing. They don't know where the boy is at.
It's crazy. I don't know. It freaks me out and it pisses me off at the same time because they're keeping all this hush-hush. All right.
Well, why don't you think mainstream media will talk about it, Jeff?
Because they're told not to.
Well, maybe that's why you're not going to get a show now. See.
Thanks. Well, maybe the next time you come on, we'll call you by a different name or something. I don't know.
Yeah, there you go.
So, all right, let's, dude. Man, this is, it's fun and it's mysterious and it's scary at the same time when I have you on my show. It fits in what we talk about here, and I know you don't like to go there, dude, but it's supernatural stuff. There's something going on. These people are disappearing, sometimes right in front of other people, and that is not normal. All right, it isn't.
No, it's abnormal.
Okay, it's absolutely ridiculously not normal, and people need to know about this. And keep doing what you're doing, man.
Yep.
I mean, keep going and pushing your books and talking about it on other shows, and we talk about you on the show a lot and your books a lot because it's happening freaking 2 hours from my house.
Yeah,
that's why we talk about your books and talk about you. In the freaking 3 weeks, we had 3 missing people. And one person, they found my Yuki hardwood 9 days later. I have somebody on my Facebook wall whose father is from the research, the people who go do the SAR, I guess they call them, search and rescue, and they were blown away. They said, we were expecting to find a body. She was dead. She was dead. How do you go 9 days? She was supposed to be dead. She was dead. There's absolutely no reason why they should have found her.
Plus, I'd like to know how she broke her leg falling into a rock field, and then she made a statement that she wouldn't talk to anybody any further about it. I don't know why.
Exactly. She knows something. She saw something. I actually posted that on my wall. I said she has come out and she refuses to talk to media and anybody about this case. Their family is requesting her to rest. She's even requesting it. And I'm going, they put a gag order on her. Somebody told her to shut up. Either that or she is one of the lucky ones that has come back and knows something. She knows where she went or what happened because, like I said, 9 days, dude, is not normal. I mean, here we have an Asian woman, probably 90 pounds, only had a filtered straw to drink water. She was an experienced hiker for that matter. how does an experienced hiker fall off a cliff and break a leg if that's what happened to her? I mean, come on. I go hiking all the time. I go looking for, you know what I do. And I don't break legs. I don't break foot. But here you have an experienced hiker. You know, the same thing goes for that guy in Yosemite.
Yeah.
He freaking fell off. They found him down off a cliff. What? That doesn't make any sense.
I lived in Yosemite. I actually watched somebody fall down the waterfall.
Mm-hmm.
You could see their jacket, and then you couldn't see their jacket, and then you could see their jacket, and then you couldn't see it. I mean, Yosemite Falls all the way down. And when we were there was people missing all the time over there. I mean, it was like all the time.
Like an everyday occurrence.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know why, you know, like, I don't know what it is, but back then, nobody even thought of it. Everybody was out searching, and then, I guess because I was a kid, but, you know, we never really followed up or anything.
They didn't put two and two together, but now you can. I mean,
You know, now, man.
now you have avenues to talk about it. Back then, you didn't.
Well, first, like, seeing a Bigfoot,
Right.
I didn't go camping for 6 years
Right.
after that. Then you guys got me going back, you know, and I went back anyways.
Right.
Then I read David's books. Now, you know, I don't want to take my grandkids camping. I mean, now it changed the whole game.
It has for me as well.
I mean, the whole game has changed.
It has. I mean, even Cheryl, my wife, you know, she freaks. I mean, she can't see Christian within 2 seconds. She starts yelling his name. Where's Christian? Go find him. You know, because David scared the crap out of her, and that's what the whole purpose is of getting them on these shows. Is to scare the crap out of these fathers and mothers who take their kids
and don't watch.
Right. You know, even if there's campgrounds. I mean, David, you know, in one of his first 2 books, you know, there are guys or tours. You know, people go missing right in front of all these other people, and they disappear. It's like, what?
Yeah.
All right. So, okay. Again, your website and where they can order your $200 books.
Good stuff. Yeah, good
Please don't start that.
I'm just kidding, guys. Don't go to Amazon. Go to canammissing.com. Is that correct?
Thanks, Jeff. That's perfect.
canammissing.com. Don't go to Amazon. They're scalping his books for $200, $250. If you want to, go for it. But, you know, go over here, pay $30 in shipping, and he will get you the book. Now, obviously, you have all your books for sale, right?
Oh, yes.
All right.
Well, I got a link. When I get it to YouTube, it might take me a couple days. Sorry, guys. But I have a link to your Can-Am site. You know how you put a little...
Right, on the YouTube?
Yeah, and they can just click right on it. It'll go straight over to his site.
Okay.
Straight to it.
What we're going to do as well, and it's because I think when we interviewed you the first time, it was a great interview. What we're going to do is Alan, within the next couple of days, on our homepage, he's going to place those 2 links for the YouTube videos that we did on your interviews like many moons ago. You want it? I mean, we're freaking you guys out now. Go back and listen to those 2. Then you'll really be freaked out.
I think what's cool is we get him and like we don't have commercials.
Yeah.
So he gets to talk,
Right.
like for a while, and
that's,
he really
that's the way
drove
should
it
be.
home today.
Yeah,
Man.
I mean,
oh man,
I'm
not gonna sleep tonight. Just thinking about that and the stories that Danny told.
Well, dude, I was
I'm
living
done.
in, you know, I was living in L.A. I was doing the whole nightclub thing too, you know, and I didn't get wasted and drunk or anything like that. But you know, that's an occurrence for everybody. Everybody does that. So, all right, David, man, I appreciate you coming on. I had a blast, and I hope I'm serious. I hope we scared people into really thinking about the next time they go camping. We really can't tell people not to go clubbing, not to go. You know what? Stay with groups. Stay with groups of people. Don't go camping. Don't go hiking by yourself. That's the most stupidest thing I could ever hear. Don't go hiking by yourself, you guys. Always take somebody. All right?
And always carry a personal transponder.
That's a really good idea.
Yeah, but I mean, if we're talking, and I'm going to go there, supernatural stuff. Is that stuff going to work?
It might.
Well, we do not have a case ever where a guy was carrying or a lady was carrying a firearm and a personal locator transponder. We've had cases where they're just carrying the transponder or just carrying the firearm, but not both.
Oh, look, there's the good secret. Carry a gun and a transponder.
Yes.
Huh. Interesting.
And especially if you're female.
Oh, yeah.
Interesting. Okay. All right, David. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. And man, I'm pretty sure we're going to be talking again, dude.
Hey, it's always my pleasure, guys. I appreciate it.
All
Yeah,
right.
it really is fun.
Have a good night, David. Thank you.
Good night, sir.
Night, guys.
See ya. Okay, guys. I don't know what to tell you, but my life has changed after the first interview with David on Paranormal Central. We're talking about 4 years ago. There was a case that he talked to us about in there that really changed my life, and I think you guys need to go listen to that as well.
Like the one where the right out of the camper.
Well, yeah,
Where the
that
kid
stuff
was
too.
in the camper, the parents.
And that's in the book.
I know.
Okay,
yeah.
so we can talk about that. There's an incident where there's two children sleeping in a camper, and the father and mother are outside, probably not more than 50 yards or even closer than that, and they hear a right, and they go back to the camper, and I believe it's the little girl is still there, but the child boy is gone.
Yeah, 2 years old or something like that.
Older? No, I think he was older than the daughter, the sister, if I'm not
maybe.
mistaken.
But he was still a little, like 5.
He was.
And then when they find him, he was like 13 miles away, 2 rivers over. I mean, it was ridiculous.
Okay, so this.
I mean, come on.
All right. So, anyways, you need, when you go camping, if you have kids, or if you're an adult, don't go out to go to the bathroom by yourself. Don't go take a pee break by yourself. You need to take somebody with you. All right? If you're going to go 20 feet, 30 feet, 40, 50 feet, you need to take somebody with you. It's as simple as that. Don't do it anymore. All right? Because I don't want to see your freaking book, one of my Facebook friends, in one of David's books next time. I don't. All right? Okay. So there you go.
Heidi says, you don't like camping, Heidi?
Let's call Heidi.
Yeah, we're going
All
to call
right.
Heidi.
Let's
Billy.
call Heidi.
I love camping. I used to love it a lot more. I mean, a lot more. Like, I would grab my 35 millimeter single reflex camera and take off and hike a creek for 5 miles, all by myself, no gun.
And that was before you knew about...
Before Bigfoot.
Well, Cheryl... she used to go camping with her dad many, many moons ago, just him and her. And she used to go out wandering by herself with a whistle.
Yeah,
and
I had my whistle too.
And it's
my dad made me carry a whistle.
And if after hearing David, she freaked. She goes, "Oh my God, I could have been a statistic."
I carry a gun and a camera, and people with me, and a lot of times nobody wants to go.
Hey,
hi,
what's
Heidi.
going on?
As well. Camping, if I could relocate, like with my recliner, my TV, remote control, microwave, I'm good.
So you're one of those types,
You're the fifth wheel type.
Well, we have a
with
fifth
the pop
wheel.
outs,
Yeah, we do. Actually, we have a fifth wheel, but it's an older model. It's not. We bought it used.
It still has pop outs and stuff.
Sure,
it's nice.
sure. But yeah, when I first got it, Heidi, I mounted a big frickin' 40-inch screen TV in there with the Xbox for my kids, and that's how we go camping.
Love it.
Yeah, see, he
That's
beats
the way to
me in
roll.
my little 3-man dome tent, sleeping on an air mattress that goes flat before morning. Yeah.
I love the outdoors. Don't get me wrong. I was raised in the country. I love all that stuff, but to sleep out in it is a big deal, big difference.
Well, yeah, if the elements is not right, like if it's raining or snowing or very miserable and cold and 30 degrees out, then I can see that. But if everything is right, then I can see sleeping under the stars as long as you don't get kidnapped.
Yeah, that's all good.
Well, I've even went to sleep in a tent and woke up and looking at the stars.
Yeah,
and the tent disappeared on me.
But Bigfoot needed some cover.
Yeah, I mean, in that weekend there was UFOs and Bigfoots at the same time.
You're lucky you're still here.
Yeah, maybe I went somewhere and don't know it.
Heidi, tell everybody who you are and what you're about.
Well, I'm being told that I'm not loud enough, so I guess I better holler. Can you guys hear me better?
I'll crank it. I'm cranking it right now.
Okay, cool. I always say when it comes to anything out of the ordinary, I don't care, whatever it is. I feel as if I've been there, seen that, experienced it, wrote about it, got over it, and now I'm hoping to help other people do the same thing and understand this crazy, crazy, crazy world of ours. So I welcome you all to check out my main website, which is HeidiHollis.com, and I also welcome everybody to send me their odd experiences, their drawings, their pictures of anything out of the ordinary, and send it to oddadvicehh@gmail.com, and I will do my best to get to it, and we will read it off here.
Right on. Okay, Heidi sent over some pictures, and she did send them to the Art Bell people, which is Keith, and they placed them on the homepage, marked Heidi report for today's date, I believe it says on there. So if you are listening at artbell.com, you may now go over there. We're going to show photograph number 1, and let me go to it right now, and it is up. You are a go.
Yay. All right, so yes, the video is up, and I thought that this was a pretty interesting video. I'm focusing in on Vegas, baby.
Okay, so the video link right now is on the artbell.com website. So for those who wish to go over there and watch the video, the link is there.
Yes, and this occurred in Vegas on the 16th of July of this year. And the person who witnessed this and videotaped this noted that in the video that they sped up the time to 580%, which is interesting because you really get to see this fluid movement that these craft are doing, almost as if they're like playing follow the leader, going in a circular pattern and kind of flashing in and out and just making all sorts of interesting patterns in the sky. So as you go, there's 3 different captures that I took from the video that you could see there. So if you go to the first one and the second one and the third one, I mean, it's something to see. I mean, I like how this person, it even puts like some fancy music to it. It's kind of cool. Watching these craft dance around. And, you know, one of the things I have to say, you know, a lot of times that I get these videos that I'm looking through, I'm trying to figure out, which one should I highlight on? It's like so often that we get these, you know, lights in the sky. But, you know, how do we know what the heck it is? But, you know, when things move oddly and, you know, flash and dart and dance around and hold steady, it raises questions. It's like, yeah, you know, we can't all get the nice Billy Meyer photos going for us, but, you know, we can document and witness these things and kind of take it in for what it is. So, definitely check out this video because I just think it's a pretty cool one.
Yeah,
I
actually saw it, and they're basically playing follow the leader.
Yeah, right.
Right, that's what they're doing, man.
It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. I enjoyed the video. So going on to picture number 4. Okay. This is sad. I mean, this link was broken for this video, but they did have this still image of this UFO. This was, again, near Vegas. This is above the Nellis Air Force Base in Nevada on the 16th of April of last year, and this is what the witness said. I took this video at about 8:20 p.m. to 8:24 p.m. on April 16, 2014 from my backyard. I was looking to the northeast or towards North Las Vegas and Nellis Air Force Base. At about 8:20 on this date, I went out onto my patio to have a cigarette. At about 8:22 p.m., I saw what I thought was a low-flying airplane over Vegas until it reversed directions instantly. I got up and went to a spot in my yard where I could see it better. It was moving all over the northwestern sky, blinking a greenish blue and red light. The colors were very bright. I immediately reached for my pocket and grabbed my Galaxy S4 so that I could try and shoot a video of what I was seeing. It's only the second time that I filmed a video on this phone, so it was a bit shaky, and I was pretty jacked up because I could clearly see this was a UFO and not a conventional aircraft. This all appeared to occur over and near Nellis Air Force Base. However, another witness said it was in the Centennial Hills area of Las Vegas that was probably between 13 and 21 miles away when I videotaped it. My home is on the extreme west side of Las Vegas near the Red Rocks and the Pine Mountains. The video is shaky, but other parts clearly show this object moving at incredibly fast speeds and in a manner no other aircraft could do. Nellis Air Force Base is 21 miles from my home, so if it was over the base, it must have been pretty large in size, and it must have been moving very fast at times. It also seemed to go very low at times. And that was the end of their report. So I thought that's a pretty fantastic thing. And then as I'm going, like, I love going through this website that's called latestufos.com. And so I was going through, and it's like all UFO reports that were in Vegas. And lo and behold, this next picture number 5, is of the same UFO, same time. So this is interesting. So this is
Wow.
This is funny. Yeah, this one is funny because they also went to have a cigarette. So this is what the witness said. I was sitting on my back patio about 820, which faces Las Vegas Strip, downtown Las Vegas, having a cigarette when this happened. Both the Strip and downtown are about 12 to 13 miles away. I live just at the base of the Red Rocks at Red Rock Canyon, which is about 1,200 to 1,300 feet higher in elevation than the Strip in downtown. We are one of the highest elevations for a subdivision in all of Las Vegas, so we have great views of the city and the entire valley. The lot and the views are what sold me on making this my home. That was what they reported. And that's their picture. And I'm like, whoa.
You know what, Heidi? When I started doing this show 7 years ago, 8 years ago, I used to get reports, and I still do UFO reports on my 24-hour hotline.
Yeah.
A majority of the UFO sightings come when you're taking out the trash, when you're outside having a cigarette, or when you're walking around or walking the dog. Those 3 things, right? When people are doing those 3 things, it's when these UFO sightings occur. It's because they're looking up.
Oh, that's true.
A majority of them is when somebody is smoking a cigarette. It's exactly just like what you just said right now. I looked at Alan, and Alan looked at me. As soon as you said that, we're going, yep.
That's funny. It's funny. I was just like, hold it. Is this the same guy? Because I'm like, no, this is another person. They're, different distance. And I'm like, they both happen to go out for a cigarette.
Wow. Sure.
And, another interesting thing, too, both of these links to their videos were broken. So because they're from last year, so the links must have broke. But at least I got the still for both of them, which kind of shows a similar colored craft. And, I mean, according to the first guy, he thinks it was quite a large sighting, and I got jacked up about it. I love when, these earth-shattering, experiences come in, and, the things that the way that people take it in for what it is, and which actually brings me to this other bit, and there's another couple of pictures.
Okay.
Somebody sent me an email, and they sent a link to their video, though they had it on private, and then Keith on Art Bell's site couldn't post it because it said private, and then they updated it to be public, so maybe we'll be able to post it up at some point, the actual video. But if you go to the next set of pictures, this goes with the email that was sent to me, that was sent to, in regards to the show in particular. So
cool.
Here we go. It says, Dear Heidi, I'm writing this to you in hopes of getting some professional answers. Ooh, I don't know if I'm professional, but we'll try. Answers to a life-changing event that I experienced earlier this year. I reached out to the fellas at Paranormal Central through email on several occasions, but haven't heard back yet. Ooh, you guys are busy.
I haven't got anything. I haven't got anything.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know when he sent these, but I guess several times this person sent some emails. But, I mean, you guys are getting popular, so this stuff happens.
Yeah. Or they're getting intercepted.
Oh, that too. That happens to me too. People like, on Facebook, I sent you 3 emails. I'm like, I see nothing there. Yeah. It's just weird. So, indeed, it happens. Okay, it says, I'm hoping you have the time to give me your opinion and maybe help me identify what I witnessed. Just a little background on me. I'm 58 years old. I've been married and divorced. I have 2 beautiful children, a daughter, 24, who just graduated from college and is a 6th grade teacher, first time. Okay. I have a son, 20, who's a sophomore. And yes, you can tell I'm proud. I'm a proud father. I have had some things happen to me over the past few years, which I cannot explain, and I still search for answers on an almost daily basis. It definitely consumes much of my time. I don't discuss these events with anyone, so telling you this seems strange. But he does know that I'm reading this on here because I corresponded with him a couple of times. Anyway, back in 2009, I suffered a massive heart attack while at work on a Sunday morning. I remember being in the rescue ambulance and the paramedics telling me I waited too long and they couldn't save me. Oh, great. That's special. I was told that I was pronounced clinically dead when I arrived at the hospital. They began to work on me. I was brought back. I was in a coma and on a ventilator for 5 days. When I woke, as the first 24 hours went by, I started to remember some of the events that took place. I never slept for those 24 hours. I do remember being out of my body, looking down at several medical professionals working on me. I remember several other things that happened, but I should not have. I have a hard time to this day to try to explain those memories. In 2010, I had an intestinal bleed, was airlifted from a hospital in Manchester, New Hampshire, to the Dartmouth Hitchcock Medical Center in Lebanon, New Hampshire. When I arrived at 4 a.m., the surgical team was waiting for me. I just finished my 4th blood transfusion and remember being asked by the surgeon if I wanted to see a priest. Oh, he told me chances were that I would not live. Man, boy, these guys are just full of cheer over there in New Hampshire. What the heck? He says I did, though. Most recently, I was sitting at home on Christmas Eve and collapsed. Holy crap. Ellen, did you write this? Come on, Ellen, just tell me. Jeez.
Oh, man.
You can tell us the truth.
I'm sitting here in shock.
That's funny. That's funny.
Okay, so I was sitting at home on Christmas Eve and collapsed. I was rushed to the hospital. Oh, my gosh, and diagnosed with a pulmonary embolism. I remember asking the intensive care nurse if I was dying, and she nodded her head. Golly! But you're not shy over there. Fortunately, I made it through that also. So nothing I witnessed should worry or bother me. Oh, gosh, this poor guy. Okay, well, I saw something in the sky at 10:15 p.m. on May 1st, 2015, in my backyard, in the town where I lived, smoking 5 cigarettes. I'm just kidding. He didn't say that. Okay, in my backyard in the town where I live, which is Derry.
With a bucket over his head. No.
With the
Oh, now this guy
and 2 bags of garbage.
I was going to say this, yeah, with the dog peeing on the bush.
Yes. Oh, gosh. That has had an even more profound impact on me. I reported it to MUFON earlier in the morning the next day. I was contacted by a field investigator a few days later. I'd also taken a 3-minute video with my cell phone, which I sent to MUFON. I was told that MUFON was going to analyze the video and get back to me. Well, they never did. My sister was also a witness to these objects. We really have never discussed a sighting since then. I've had pretty much kept my thoughts to myself until now. If you're interested, I can try and send the video to you. I think if you call me, okay, I could better explain to you about 35 seconds. And so I didn't read the whole email or anything. I just saw that this guy was trying to send something over. And then he says, however, that night there was a 98% full moon, which was located up to my right over my head. I think I actually captured a picture of the orb that disappeared. It actually looks like some type of craft, which is very disturbing. My name is Scott. For some reason, I can't find the MUFON case number, but I found what I had written. I will paste it below. I sent the video in an email, but that it didn't get sent through. But let me get to his report. This is what his report says.
Yeah, I'm glad Scott was still around to, do this report. Really.
What's that?
I'm glad he's still around to do the
right. I know.
Report.
Right. It's
I'm still
pretty
tripping.
Amazing.
Yeah, scared me.
So here goes his report. It says this event took place approximately 10:15 p.m. on May 1st, 2015. I just downloaded a mobile Sky app on my phone and was out in the back deck with my sister, who had also downloaded the same app on her phone. After looking for a few minutes, we both stepped back in the house. I'd seen a bright star in the northwest sky. Just at twilight, I decided to step back out onto the deck in an attempt to identify it. As I stepped out onto the deck, something to my right in the southeast horizon caught my attention. At first, I thought it was another star that had just become visible, but I realized it was much larger in size than anything I had been looking at, and also the color was much different. It was a bright, distinct yellow-orange orb or oval-shaped object, brighter than any star, and it was very low on the horizon, moving directly in my direction. It seemed as if it was out quite far, but as it moved forward in a slightly northern direction, it was closer. As if in a blink of an eye, a second object, exactly like the first, appeared slightly to the right of the first object. As they got closer to my position, the orbs or objects began to come larger and brighter. I called for my sister to come and look at what was in the sky. I called her several times more, and after what seemed to be forever, she came out. It's funny, I hear him in the video calling for her. But seeming to change color to a more orange-red with less yellow, yet just as bright. These objects made absolutely no noise. As they got closer, their shape began to become more round than oval. Although I've never seen one for some reason. I thought maybe these were Chinese lanterns that people describe as seeing. My sister went back into the house to get her camera, and as she did, a third and then a fourth light appeared, all in a straight line, exactly the same distance apart, all moving very slowly towards us and continuing to angle away in a straight line. They seemed to be slowly moving and yet hovering at the same time. My sister came back out, and I pointed out the other new objects to her. She started to take some digital pictures using her phone. I then turned on the video camera on my phone and began to film. As the objects moved slowly towards us, I noticed they all slowed to almost a complete stop and sped up together. The distance between them remained constant. As they got closer, there was still no noise at all, as if by design, the straight row of four lights began to somehow turn straight upward with the first object leading the way. They ascended upward to the north on an angle and just ever so slowly lift up and away with the first object dimming and fading, getting smaller with the distance between the first object and the second becoming greater. The second object followed the first in the same manner as well as the third. However, the last remaining object stopped moving. Excuse me, I need a drink of coffee. I think God I got some.
Add something to that coffee.
Oh, gosh, I swear. Allergies.
Oh, yeah, ditto.
All right.
Mine is killing me right now.
It's terrible. I don't even know. It's like ragweed and all that great stuff. Okay, so where was I? Okay, however, the last remaining object stopped moving altogether and just hovered above for what seemed to me to be forever, but was actually maybe 30 seconds. Nevertheless, it did not move in any direction. Then, just like the rest, it just sped up straight up into the night sky, and it was gone. This whole episode lasted maybe 4 minutes. My sister took several digital pictures. For some reason, only one photo was in her gallery. How interesting is that? The picture that was remaining has no color. It is as if it is a black and white photo, which was strange. I did manage to get 3 minutes and 20 seconds of video. The video seems to be bouncing around quite a bit. I thought I was holding pretty steady, but I guess not. I think the movement of the objects and my inexperience in cinematography might have something to do with it. I'm going to download this video onto this report. I'm not very computer literate, so there are no guarantees. If they don't load, please contact me. Okay, so this video I'll definitely, once this goes to be a public shown video, I'm going to send the link to keep to upload with the stills. But you know, I'm listening to what he's saying about his experience about near-death stuff. He didn't really go into great detail on these life-changing experiences, but then says that the UFO filming was even more had more of an impact, which is interesting to me. I would think the near-death experiences were, you know, like a kaboom. UFOs are cool and all, but wow, nothing beats meeting their creator potentially. So
right.
I would sure love to hear more of this story, what happened on the other side and your out-of-body experiences. But what do you guys think about what he shared?
I don't know. We'd have to listen to the whole story, especially, you know, what happened out of the body. I don't know.
Right.
You know, I don't know. I couldn't tell you.
Right. Yeah, it's definitely, Scott, if you want to update a little bit more on what it is that you experienced, and you know, what did it make you feel like when you saw these UFOs? Did you feel like, you know, that last one was observing you? You know, do you think that something happened? Obviously, something interfered with your sister and her camera, so it's like, what do you feel? You know, I would say that the witness is the best judge of character of the situation, you know, and just to trust your gut on it. So Scott, feel free to give us some more information, and we'll definitely touch base on it again.
I wonder if like sometimes when people, they'll have one come down like that, and they say, like he was saying, it feels like a long time, and then they say that it was only 30 seconds, right? But then if they really were able to check somehow, they find out they really have missing time.
Right.
I mean, usually when those statements are together, there's a missing time in there. Right. But only he has two people, his sister, but only there is the camera malfunctions and stuff like that. I mean, I would think that there might be some missing time thing, and that's why he would have it was more of a big deal to him.
Right.
Right.
Sometimes
it makes you wonder.
Yeah, sometimes you just can't put it all in words. It's like you have to have been there, but.
Right.
Cool.
So I'm suspicious too that something might have interfered, and why didn't the sister? I mean, here's this dancing of lights going on, and if you hear the video, he's like, I think her name is Trista. He's like, Trista, and she's not coming back out, and it's like, what? This is a pretty big deal. What, did she get taken during that little time? I don't know.
Right.
It could have been.
Kind of wild. So, I don't know. I know you guys are running short on time. I do have another short email, but I could save it for next time if you'd like. It's all good.
Yeah, let's save it for next time.
Sounds good. No problem. All righty. Well, I have another, believe it or not, I'm a guest on a Canadian show here shortly.
Sweet.
So.
Cool.
All right, right on.
Wow.
Yeah, so it should be interesting. So, fun stuff.
Cool deal. All right. Right on. Thanks,
All
Heidi.
right.
In the middle of the night, everything happens in the middle of the night. You know it.
Isn't it true? Oh, my goodness. That's why I got this coffee. Big old cup of it.
Right on. All right. Thank you, Heidi.
All right. You guys stay out of trouble.
Bye, Heidi.
See you next week.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye. All right. We are going to call somebody. I got a call, I think it was Thursday this past week. And he...
Okay, wait. Before you call...
Yeah.
Or you could call... You can go while you're calling him.
Mm-hmm.
What happened in your backyard?
This past week, I don't know if it was Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday, the dogs were barking.
Mm-hmm.
And for those who don't know where I live, let's just say I live southeast part of Fresno.
He lives like in the country, edge of the country.
Yeah.
And city country.
It just so happens, I mean, we live in attract homes, and they're new homes, but it so happens that there's a big brick wall, and behind the brick wall there is the train tracks that takes the train to Sanger and Reedley. Okay?
Yeah, the packing houses.
Packing houses and the lumber and all that. The dogs started to bark, and I get up when they do, and I look out I have a 2-story house. The window faces the backyard, which is on the other side of the tracks.
Okay, can you see the tracks when you're up there?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. And that night was a full moon.
Ooh, so you could see good.
I could see really good. But yet, when I woke up, I was still in a daze. I had to rub my eyes, whatever. And the dogs were barking towards the train tracks. Now, we have coyotes always running down.
I've seen them.
Yeah.
When I'm leaving sometimes going home,
You see
they're
them running
crossing
across the... Sure. And there's, sometimes there's packs. I mean, but they are howling, but sometimes they're not. The dogs, we have 3 dogs back there, and they bark at whatever. I mean, if there's somebody on, jogging, or somebody on a bike back there on the dirt road next to the train track, then they will bark, and they will let us know there's somebody back there. Well, the dogs were barking, and I don't remember what time it was. It was like 2 or 3 in the morning. And I looked out of our window, and I had to rub my eyes a little bit. I swear, you guys. I swear. And I actually had the Bible here to prove that I saw what I saw. I saw 2 legs, very tall legs, skinny. And I know I've seen people jog. I've seen people walk on the train tracks. And they walk really slow because you have to walk on the wood. Right. And there's all rocks on, so you can't run, or you can. Something was moving.
At 2 in the morning, nobody's running back there anyways.
No. I've seen people on bikes with headlamps riding out. They're like on a weekend.
Yeah,
type deal.
tweakers.
Yeah. I saw. To this day, I don't know what I saw, and it was 2 legs, and they looked like horse legs, and there was only 2 of them, and it was moving. They were moving like this. Not a normal person walking. I could see, and if you can see me on the video right now, I'm looking like this.
That's pretty fast.
Okay. And I said, what the hell was that? And the dogs chased it along the brick wall as it was moving. And I was doing this, wiping my eyes. I was doing this.
But you couldn't see no body?
I couldn't see a body.
Whoa. That's weird.
Okay. And no, I'm not on crack. Okay. I swear, you guys, I don't know what I saw. And I don't see these things that often, so this one was really weird to me, and I don't know what I saw. I'm not going to say what I saw because all I saw was 2 legs, but they weren't running. They were like floating on the train tracks, and that's what was tripping me out.
Man,
that was tripping me out, and I don't know what I saw. I don't know, but I tell you guys, this stuff happens during the night when we're asleep.
Yeah, actually, and you're in that time zone. The 3 o'clock time zone is.
There's things that have happened here at the house. Cheryl have seen stuff, heard stuff.
Yeah, but this time your dogs are reacting.
Yeah, they're reacting,
too.
and so something was out there, but I couldn't see the body. And I don't know why it couldn't see the body, but the legs were really tall. And I always see people walk. I always see an old gentleman, elderly man, in the morning hours with his dog walking down the train tracks as he's looking for golf balls because the golf course is right. So that's what he does. Mm-hmm. So I see the legs, but the legs are the same height as this old man would be.
Wow.
And that's why I was rubbing my eyes. I'm going, what am I looking at? And I watched it going from right to left. And I know you guys are probably pulling, but here's, for all those who don't know, I am a Catholic, all right? I believe in a higher power. And this book here, the Holy Bible, is something very special to Alan and myself. So I'm putting my hand on it right now, and I'm telling you, I saw those 2 legs moving at a very high rate speed on those train tracks. And I don't know what to tell you, what they were. I have no clue. But I wanted to tell you because I finally saw something that I could not identify. I did, and it blew me away. And for the 2 days afterwards, it was constantly on my mind. I would go up there after work, and I would look out the window and look at the dimensions and see how tall it was and what I was looking at. But it tripped me out. And so I don't know what I saw. So, okay. God, we have one more person. Okay, we got 30 minutes. I think we can do this in 30 minutes. I got a call last Thursday, and it was a male, and he wanted to tell me something that happened to him a long time ago. I'm not going to tell you. I'm going to let him tell you, and I'm going to call him right now, and he's on the East Coast someplace.
There's a question in chat, like how often do we get out to go investigating? We go pretty often. The last 2 times have been to Thule Reservation,
right.
And that was in the last couple of months.
Right.
Like we haven't done any. We didn't do anything in August. I've been having health problems, but I'm so far they say I'm in the clear. I'm on the mend, and we have to go. We have some cameras at the spot.
Yeah, it depends when you mean investigating, because we investigate everything. Back in the days when I first started this Sanger Paranormal Society, I used to do a lot of investigating of haunted locations. Now, Alan, you came into the picture in 2007?
2009.
2009?
Yeah.
Okay, because I started the program, the Sanger Paranormal Society, in 2003, and in 2009 is when Alan came came into. That's when the Bigfoot stuff.
Right. You
came.
started. Yeah, exactly.
When David, when we had this just speeches and all that kind of stuff, that's when you came into the play. So, and I used to do, and I had a team back then, and we used to do nothing but ghost investigations until things picked up, and I started getting calls on my 24-hour UFO hotline. Now it's a paranormal hotline about UFOs and Bigfoot, and
Yeah, I think
now things picked up.
I think the crash,
It
like
was in 2011, I think.
it was we started doing a lot of UFO stuff, and then all of a sudden there was like abductions and this and that, and
Right.
and you had just switched over from doing podcast to live stream.
Right, I was just doing just audio.
Right. And then I started helping you do the live stream, and then we
And he was behind the scene doing,
Yeah.
I don't know, what computers.
just bring in stuff so that you could do
Yeah,
it,
and,
keep it going.
yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
That's what it was. You had the equipment.
Yeah.
And then eventually Alan got in front of the camera, and that's where he's at. So, okay, let's call this guy. His name is Dylan, but that doesn't mean anything. I mean, there's quadrillion Dylans out there, and you don't know what Dylan is. So,
Yeah, it's probably late over there for Dylan, huh? Like, let's see, 3.
Oh,
Dylan,
hey, what's up?
hey, how's it going? Okay, you called me last week. Remember what day it was?
Either Thursday or Friday.
Okay. Yeah, I think it was, and on Friday is when you were texting me about outside. So anyways, you called me because you had an incident that had happened to you. Go ahead and tell us what happened to you. How old were you when this happened to you?
I want to say 3 or 4.
Okay. All right, go ahead and tell everybody what you told me that first time we talked.
Basically, I lived in Argentine Township, Michigan. I currently reside outside of that area. Still in Michigan. Basically, what happened, and it happened on several occasions, as well as it happened to 2 of my sisters and my brother. Basically, how do I put this? I would basically, I'd go in the living room and I'd sit on the couch, whatever. But the thing that was weird was I would get dizzy, I would get confused, and basically the entire room looked like, how do I say this? Basically, it was like a whole different area. The chair would like rotate. Basically, it felt like I was levitated. I mean, I really couldn't explain it as well as I'd like to. But basically, yeah, it felt like I was levitated, like I was rotated. I was basically like in a trance, staring at the wall. I couldn't get up. I couldn't really do anything. It was just for whatever reason, I had a sensation that I wanted to stay there.
Okay.
And I called you thinking that it was a paranormal incident, and basically you told me you believe it was an alien. Yep.
Well, I tried to figure out where we were going with this. At first, I thought, okay, maybe there's a haunting involved, but that didn't sound like a haunting to me. And I said, okay, maybe there's an abduction alien situation going on here. And that's when I asked you, did you have any brothers and sisters? And you said yes, some sisters. And you said, and I asked you, has this ever happened to her? And you asked her. Now, have you ever told anybody about this?
Ironically, last month it came up. I was talking to my uncle and about whatever BSing about stuff, and I said, yeah. We were talking about haunting. I said, yeah. Back when I lived in Argentine, this happened to me. My sister says, really? It happened to me too. So that's how that came along.
Okay. So then,
how old was she? How old was she?
She would have been 5.
5? Wow.
So now I said, okay, now it sounds like there's a family thing going on here. And I asked you, do you know if any other of your family members have had any weird encounters? And then you told me about your grandfather. Tell us about your grandfather. Actually, your uncle told you about your grandfather, right?
Right. Yep.
Okay. What?
Basically, and this may sound crazy, but my grandfather was abducted, and whatever they did to him, I don't know.
I'm sure he knew because he remembered a lot of what happened. He was able to move things with his mind. And it wasn't just whenever he wanted to. When he would get really angry, he would be able to he would take something. And basically to prove the point to people, like he was with a psychologist, and there was a glass of water, and he picked up the glass of water, and, he held it in the air, and he spun it 360 degrees. The water did not fall out. Then after that, he slammed it, smashed it on the table. So really, it's like when people would ask him about it and talk about it, that's when basically he would be able to use it. From what I've heard, my family telling me.
Okay. Now, you didn't know about this. Matter of fact, your uncle didn't want to even tell you.
Right. He was really hesitant.
Okay. Now, let's take this even further. That's when I said, okay, it looks like you guys, your family have been getting abducted, and who knows how long this has been going on. And your uncle said, was it your uncle who was abducted, or was it?
Yes.
Now
my uncle.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Go from there.
Basically, he's always had an interest in aliens and UFOs, and just recently he started talking about he has this friend that visits him, a lizard friend, basically, and when he talks about it, it's for 5 minutes, and then he'll leave the room, or he won't talk about it. A couple weeks later, he'll talk about it another 5 minutes. Well, just recently, he's told me when he first encountered it, and I'm not sure if I told this to you or not, but basically he stood up and he was going to attack the lizard, reptilian, alien, whatever you want to call it. He was going to attack it. It grabbed him and pinned him against the wall, and he said it had super strength. He said that basically it disabled him. His muscles, his joints, he couldn't move. And it wasn't physically holding him from moving. It was like controlling him, like his muscles. Just from holding him there. And then on another occasion, he was saying, this thing's evil. I mean, he said that it does things that, like, I couldn't even believe. He said at one point, it took him up and it let him drive the spaceship, briefly. And that's what I was telling you the other day. Now, he's really uncomfortable when he talks about this. So, that being the case, I can tell he's not lying. He's serious. I mean, basically, yeah, that's why, you know what I mean? That's why I sort of want to ask anybody else, has this happened to you? Maybe the chair thing, the rotating thing, stuff like that.
Now, you talked to your mom about the incident as well, the couch thing, or the recliner chair thing.
Right.
Did she give an inclination that it happened to her at all?
Well, she was at work at the time I called her. Now, normally when I talk about aliens, UFOs, stuff like that, no, they, blah, 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 that's not real, just a bunch of bullcrap. When I was telling her about the incident, she was listening for once, like ever. And I'm like, man, why is she listening to me? You know what I mean? Why is she listening this one time? And after, I started explaining, she said, no, I can explain this, blah, blah, blah. I think she was going to biblically explain it because we are as well Christians. She never really brought it back up, and that was last Thursday.
Okay. Now, I told you that, your uncle, I want to talk to him really bad, and I don't know if you're going to be able to pull that off or not. But I told you that since he has seen the reptilian aliens, I wanted to send you some photographs. Now, for all those who don't know, I used to be an investigator for MUFON back in the days. I used to be a section state director. And for all those, I'm putting up right now the manual that was given to me after I passed the test. I was a certified MUFON investigator for a while, became section state director under Ruben Duarte, who is now the northern director in Sacramento. And I was given the manual, and inside this manual, there are, over the years that MUFON has had, reports, they ask the person to draw what they see. And what they have done is they have placed drawings of certain kinds of aliens in this manual. And what I want to do is I want to take some snapshots of it off my iPhone, and I want to send it to you so you can show your uncle and see if any one of these are the ones he is encountering. Because I am really interested to find that out. I'm really interested to see if he will talk to me and go from there. Because I know if this is the case, he has so many other stories and things that are probably going on with him, and that I want to get to the bottom of. And I know, obviously, I think I told you they have probably been doing this to your family way back, probably even further back to your great grandparents, and it's probably in the bloodline, whatever they're doing to you guys. So, like I said, tonight or tomorrow morning, I'll take snapshots and I'll send this to you on my iPhone. And you get a chance to talk to your uncle and just say, hey, I'm talking to this guy about, UFOs. Tell him the truth. And that he has a book and he sent you over some photographs or drawings and see if he picks any one of these out. And let me know if he does. And then ask him, if he would like to talk to me about his encounters, because I would like to hear them. And tell him, I am not going to make fun of him. And this is going to be off the air, all right? First of all, I want to talk to him off the air and see where he's coming from and see if I can get some more information out of him. Because obviously I think he's the one who's been experiencing this the longest, because he's very, he's older than you. He's your uncle. And I would like to go and see what happens. And I know you have other aunts and uncles as well, so I'm thinking it's probably happening to them as well. If they're going to talk to you about it, I don't know. So, like I said, tomorrow morning when I wake up, I'll take snapshots of these and I'll send them to you. All right, Dylan?
Yes.
Okay.
That sounds great to me.
Okay, and if anybody else out there has stories like that, the whole idea here is to allow you to get this off of your chest, because a lot of you have probably experienced these things all your life, and you need to tell somebody, and you're not the only ones that this is happening to.
Yeah, and most definitely that is evil.
The reptilians are not good.
Yeah,
Okay.
You could tell your uncle that is a for sure thing,
Right.
Because
he told me that they're evil.
Because we deal with quite a few calls and people that over the years, and those guys are the ones that they're always almost never a nice story.
Right.
With them,
Now I've heard, and you can Google this and do research on it, but they're the ones who are the underground.
Yeah, they're the underground.
The
ones.
underground ones, and they're not, and they're actually, and I think they're somehow involved in a lot of these missing people. I think
so too.
Okay.
What we talked about earlier.
Yeah. So
I agree.
All right. Well, hey Dylan, I appreciate you coming on and telling your story. Like I said, tomorrow morning I'll take some photos and I'll send them to you. When are you going to see your uncle next?
Probably Friday.
Okay.
This upcoming Friday.
Okay. I'll go ahead and let me know as soon as you can. Text me over like you have been doing, and let me know if anything else happens to you or your family that you want to tell me. Feel free to text me. Okay.
Alrighty, thanks.
All right. Thank you, Dylan.
Well, thanks, man.
Yep, bye.
See ya. Okay. For those people who are watching and listening to us right now, it's kind of hard to comprehend what you just heard. I mean, come on, really? We're talking about...
There's one going on in chat right now that's equally as scary.
We're talking about... we're talking about Sleestack and Land of the Lost kind of stuff. It's what we're talking about right now. All right? That's what we're talking about. And, when you hear people talk about this stuff, you're going, okay, really? But there are many stories that are coming to us that we are getting, that these people are all over America in different parts of the country who have similar stories. And they're scared out of their mind and they want to tell somebody. And that's the stuff that we're getting now finally. Because, we have that door that's open for you guys to call us and to send email. It's there. We want to listen to you. And if you have, evidence, oh man, I want it. If you have some great photographs or great videos of stuff that you have had for years and you're afraid to bring it out because you're afraid people are going to laugh at you, well, don't. Not here. We're not going to do it. We're serious about what we do here. It's all about changing that science fiction to reality. Man, it took me a while to finally get all this stuff that we're getting and say, man, I think this is real stuff. We're actually talking about monsters, man.
Yeah.
We're talking about the devil. We're talking about evil stuff. We're talking about good stuff as well. But this stuff is real, and this stuff is happening. I mean, David Paulides, come on. This stuff is real. People are disappearing in front of other people and reappearing in different locations. Man, that's sci-fi stuff. We're talking portal. We're talking, I'm going to go there. Possibly alien abduction. We don't know. But it's happening.
It's definitely, like he was saying, his stories go all the way to the 1800s. And just like the caller that you just called right now, his goes back.
Yeah, it could go back a couple of generations. Who knows?
Yeah.
Obviously it was, it was happening to his grandfather. So, right, I had to figure out if it was, like I said, a haunting or alien abduction. And it's definitely alien abduction now, since he actually went to his uncle and got that out of him.
It's weird, though. Like, when you're 3 or 4, you don't remember, I don't know.
It happened. I think it happened more than once, obviously.
Maybe he's, still young, but,
He is young. He's only, 16 or 17.
Oh, okay. Because, if maybe I could remember that, now I'm, 56.
Right.
Thinking back to 4 years old is...
Who knows if he would have kept it? If he would have kept this inside of him, maybe in 3 years, 4 years, boop, it would have disappeared. He would have forgot. So,
or 20 years.
Yeah. So it's just one of those things. Now, what time is it? Okay, we got about 11 minutes. I don't usually do this, but I'm going to tell you who we are going to have as our guest next week. All right, you guys ready? I hope I say his last name right. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put it up on the screen really quick. And oops.
And I wanted to hear, Zek. He's talking about something in chat about the devil and hoofed feet. And, oh, man. It looks really good.
We have Andrew Bisagio. Oh, my gosh. Bisagio.
Yeah.
Andrew Bisagio on next week, you guys. Yes, we do. We have Andrew Bisagio. Project Pegasus. He will be on with us next week. And right after him on the same night, it just so happens that I made this happen. It just, perfect timing. But I have the documentary film by Christopher Garitano, The Montauk Chronicles, will be on.
Montauk Chronicles
will be on with us right after Bisagio next week.
It's good stuff.
All
next
right,
week.
dude. Are you guys kidding me? Are you kidding me? Next week is going to be off the hook. All right. So you guys spread the oops, not that way. Spread the word. But we're going to have Andrew Bisagio. I can sense that sounds. I know it rhymes with Chicago. Bisagio, I believe his name is. Andrew Bisagio. And the director and producer of the film, The Montauk Chronicles, next week. Yeah, it's going to be awesome time next week, guys. I can't wait. So I know you guys will be going, oh, my God. That's awesome. So, yeah, next week is going to be one of those, probably one of our best shows, I think. I'm not going to hold anything back. I never do. I'm going to be asking some questions to Andrew. Now, for all those who don't know, William Stillings, who was on 2-3 weeks ago and he did.
No, he did.
He predicted that earthquake in the Bay Area. He came up, at the end of the show, and William Stillings and Andrew together both were involved in Project Pegasus. And so we're going to have Andrew on. And if I'm not mistaken, Andrew is going to be running for president next year.
Yeah, I think he is.
Okay, and he might divulge some stuff that's going to be happening with him. So it's going to be off the hook.
He's going to be up against Trump.
Mind control, mind control, alien, teleportation. We're going to be talking about all that stuff next week. Whether you believe it or not, you're going to hear it from the people who have interviewed, who have been there and done that. And they're going to be here on the phone, not here but in person, but on the phone next week. So it's going to be a great 3 hours next week. My gosh, we might have to get rid of Danny. Just kidding. No, we can do it. We can do it. We can do it with all them together. So, all right.
We could do easy 3 hours. I mean, we should be able to.
Yeah,
do
you know
three
what?
People, really.
Yeah, you know what, Danny and Heidi, if you're listening right now, let's make the reports next week short, because we are going to definitely get into it with these guys next week. So try to keep it down to about 15 minutes if you can. Just a couple of them, a couple of reports, because next week we're going to need all the time we can get, for sure, on this next week's show. So I can't wait for that one. What else? What else has been going on with Ellen?
With me, I'm good to go now.
Yeah, no more stints. Everything's good.
Yeah,
You've been pretty much just kicking it for the past week. You haven't been really doing much on Facebook. You've been just relaxing.
And I apologize. I tried to get the video on YouTube, only I couldn't sit like I'm sitting right now. It's hard to sit still. But only I couldn't sit there long enough to mess with the computer to make it upload the videos to YouTube. So I missed last week, but it's easier for me to sit. I did have to get up a little while ago, and but only now I'll at least try to get the 2 shows on, and then I'm done. I got 4 stints and 1 surgery, and actually right under my belt too, and I'm ready. They said I'm on the mend, and I'm good to go. I can get far from a phone if I want to now. Don't have to worry about the 911 or nothing.
So, all right. We got several comments about last week's show, and it's actually, I'm going to talk about it. Go
ahead.
About the crack thing, all right? For those who don't know, and this has been probably now going on a couple of years, when I talk about this stuff, it's hard for me to talk about aliens and monsters and devils and ghosts and all that, because I'm actually talking out here. I'm a sound mind person, all right? I have a great job. I have a degree in electronics. I consider myself to be a smart guy,
sane,
common sense guy. But here I'm in front of a mic, in front of an HD camera, talking to thousands of people around the world about monsters, right? So sometimes I say, you know what, I don't care if you guys think I'm on the crack or not, but this is what happened, or I'm going to tell you a story. And I don't know why I say that. I think it's funny. I don't want to say funny. Drugs is not funny. Don't do drugs, all right? I'm going to tell you guys something right now. And whether you believe me or not, I don't care, and that's one of the reasons why I brought the Bible out, all right? Because I'm going to swear to something. I have never, ever taken any illegal drug ever in my life. I have been one of those goody two-shoe geek type of guys growing up in a family, a Catholic family, where I was afraid that if I did something wrong, my dad was going to kick my ass. Because you guys saw my dad when I was growing up. I was a midget compared to my dad, 6'2". Okay, you did not want to piss off my dad. So I was scared to do these bad things. Even when I was in college in LA at 17 and a half, when I was out there living by myself, I stayed away from that stuff. Boy, did I have roommates who did crack, who did meth, who did cocaine, smoked pot, and I just watched them and I laughed my ass off. Okay? That's just what I did. So when I say that, if you guys think I'm on crack, whatever, And then all of a sudden, it took a mind of its own. The people at the Chuli Reservation, Christina, and had some fans, and last week I heard that they started having viewing parties, and I think they had them beforehand, but they decided to pick out certain words that we say here, including Danny and Heidi and myself and Ellen. And one of those words was crack. And that's why whenever I said the word crack, they would take a drink or a shot of something, a Jell-O shot back at the Chuli Reservation at the viewing party. So that's why I kind of was like really, bringing out the word crack a lot last week. And people were taking it the wrong way. Well, don't take it the wrong way. I know it's a bad drug, but trust me, I am so. I don't do it. Matter of fact, somebody emailed me and said, you working for AT&T, they should give you, a drug test. And I just started laughing. I'm going, dude, if you only knew. This is what I told him. I said, dude, if you come over here right now, and if you put up the money for me to have a lie detector test and a drug test, and if I pass both of them, I get your house and all your cars, and you sign them over to me.
A minute 30.
Okay.
To music.
Because that's seriously that's me. I'm like the geek. I'm just a geek. That's the way I grew up, and that's the way I am today. Okay. So when I say the word crack, it's more of just I don't know. Should I find another word? If I can find one to represent me, I don't know.
Your wife has one in here.
Oh, here we go.
Cheap date.
Cheap date. Oh, that sucks. Really? Last week I spent how much money on your birthday, and you're telling me a cheap date? You suck.
1 minute.
1 minute. Man, you suck. All right, you guys. All right, we're going to leave it at that for myself and for Ellen and for Danny and for Heidi. And for David Paulides for
David,
coming on. Thank
you
you much, David. His website's canammissing.com. canammissing.com. He has all 5 books on sale right now. Do not go to Amazon and pay $250 because you're a loser if you do. All right? Go to canammissing.com and pay, $30 plus shipping and handling, and get a book like we have here, and it's going to scare the crap out of you.
I think it was like $30. That's with shipping and handling.
I don't know.
It's like $25 or $24.
Okay. Well, go check it out. canammissing.com.
Music. Maestro.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Good night,
So,
everyone.
all right, come back next week. We're going to have another killer show. Andrew Bisaggio and the producer and director of the Montauk Chronicles, Mr. Christopher P. Garitano. See you next week. Peace out.
Can't wait for that one.
You have been listening to Paranormal Central with Jeffrey Gonzalez and Alan Thomas. Broadcasting worldwide at ParanormalCentral.net and on ArtBell.com. Stay tuned for next time. Remember to keep your eyes to the skies. And we hope you witness something you cannot explain.